I'm like,
My
oh,
bad, y'all. I just did that, so I won't forget this time.
You're good. You're
oh
good.
no. That just tells me to get.
I sent you that reminder when I sent you that request right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why does this hurt?
All right. 40 minutes until my laptop is fully charged over here.
Yeah, I got mine on the charger too because I was in the middle of cooking.
Yeah. I just heated up some ghost pepper wings I picked up last night. So when my camera was up, I was munching on them.
You like to live on the
Ghost
wild side,
pepper
huh?
wings.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
You like to walk on the wild side.
Dude, I am the wild side. What are you talking about?
Are they good?
Oh,
Like,
hell yeah.
Ghost peppers are hotter depending on how you grow them.
The question is, do they have a good flavor though? Because sometimes stuff just be hot for the sake of being hot.
It's more flavor than heat with these, shockingly.
Really?
Yeah.
Say,
I appreciated that. You know, it has the crunch and everything. It's got like the ghost pepper flakes in there, but you're mostly tasting chicken and then the batter. You get a little bit of heat in there, dip it in some buttermilk ranch, you're good to go.
Like one of my buddy, he was trying to do that competitive eating stuff, and when it came to spicy bugs, I asked him like, "How do you do that stuff without it like burning you up?" He's like, "Pretend you're a shark." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You peel your lips back and you chomp down on it." He's like, "Because you don't want the spice to hit your lips because that's what it's already burn you."
Usually when it comes to like all that, Quaker Steak and Lube out here in Newport News, they have a Atomic Wing Challenge, and it's mixed with ghost pepper and I think Trinidad Scorpion and a few other things in the mix. It's a really dark red in color. You eat 6 wings, you get a T-shirt and a bumper sticker. And the first time I ever tried it, I got through like 5 of those bitches, and then the heat finally hit me. Now, granted, when you're eating them, you got to wear gloves. You can't touch any mucous membranes or whatever because they're going to flare up like crazy. And a friend of mine,
your entire mouth.
Yeah, a friend of mine, he got to, I think, wing 2, had to rush to the bathroom, and because he touched his junk, he had to get rushed to the ER because of that. Oh yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
You heard about
me and my Air Force
the girl
buds
that was put in like that in condoms because she was mad at her boyfriend. She said,
"Oh hell no!"
That is not the craziest thing I've seen.
Oh god, medical horror stories.
I have seen 2 teenagers come in, and the girl had a lip ring, and somehow it got stuck on his member. And
that's common.
No, she was attached.
Oh,
that whole car ride to the hospital.
Like Pierce,
she had that in her mouth.
Oh no. That's kind of fun going through the freaking lobby.
It pierced the residual foreskin and made a perfect loop through.
You got to ask yourself a question. Do you want to go to the actual hospital, or would you rather have them do that at your house?
They were like 16 years old. They had to fucking call their parents, apparently, who were just the next room over.
So we can clearly see mom and dad understand that their daughter doesn't know how to give head.
I'm sorry. But
yeah, that's
sorry,
one I can't forget.
To your penis, but I'm not going to the hospital attached to you.
Oh, imagine this. Oh, then,
bruh, the way my mama would have been. That's what you get for being nasty.
I'm sorry, Miss Johnson.
Would have been doing that to me.
Didn't mean to make your mama cry.
My mom would just be laughing.
Mine would laugh too, but she gonna tell me that's what I got.
Would have whooped my ass while I'm stuck like that.
Yeah, fucking right.
Don't you see I'm in pain?
By the fucking boat.
No,
you ain't like you.
Don't you see I'm in pain?
Yo, nasty ass in here doing that.
You ain't in enough pain yet.
The fucking part of that story is a lot of basic medical equipment is not supposed to cut through metal, so we had to call maintenance for wire cutters.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's one of those. Do you trust me?
So
no, I don't trust you.
All the nurses.
They just had an audience, bro.
And then you got the doctor like, I've never done this before. Don't move.
I wonder if they had sex again after that.
They probably did.
That might have ended the relationship. They were 16.
I'm talking about each other. I don't know.
They probably did. That's what I mean. Just no head at that point. I don't know what you did.
Everybody that gonna me.
I don't know what you did, but until you figure out how to do that right, you ain't touching that. Go watch some movies.
The dumbest thing is she asked if she could have her jewelry back. I'm like, no, this is a biohazard.
Right?
We had
blood all on it, right?
Yeah.
If she had a piercing that type of piercing at 16, I'm pretty sure her parents probably were not hard on her.
You know, it made me think of that.
Or she might have been too hard on because
that Chris Rock song, "No Sex in the Champagne Room."
Mm-hmm.
If a girl has a tongue ring, she'll probably suck your dick. If a guy has a tongue ring, he'll probably suck your dick.
I'm glad I never got my tongue pierced. But then again, I like to eat. It was
a whole song too.
I knew a couple of girls that had their tongue ring, back in college and everything, and I was like, "Yo, does that hurt?" Well, it swells a little bit, man. It's kind of painful for a couple of days. I'm like, that don't sound fun. I mean, the after action report's good, but your recovery time and just for a few days, that don't sound fun at all. Yeah.
You know what? If I don't get in trouble for it, I'm happy to do random medical horror stories as a segment. Just a little flavor there.
I wanted to get my nipples pierced. I'm still thinking about it.
Those are fun.
Okay, if you do that, you have to go live and check cosplay because there's so many girls with nipple piercings and tight outfits just with the piercings there. And that's how they get in their roses.
Just make sure you check the place that's gonna do it and make sure they lay legit.
Oh, I gotta do that.
Yeah.
No, you want to get an infection in your titty. I mean, that's all bad.
Too. Don't need to lose the titties trying to make them look pretty. They're already pretty anyway.
People be doing stupid shit when it comes to that though. Like I've seen people go to a random dude to pierce their clit or whatever. Like
they go to their best friend's house.
What are you doing?
They literally got the kits where you could do that, but I just couldn't. Yeah.
Hell no.
Well,
they even got tattoo guns online now.
Yeah.
We do not advise anyone to do a home treatment.
You can buy a piercing kit from off of Shein.
Yeah.
A new trend that's popping up is forever piercings. Just like what they take like an ankle bracelet or something, and they take a little spot welder, like a little zapper, and melt the material together so that bracelet can never come off. This is stupid to me.
It is.
Because MRI, we are going to have to clip it off you.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're going to shoot off.
That was 20 karat gold I had fused onto my body. Well, you're a dumbass. It isn't now a biohazard.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't need any incision, yes, we can give it back to you under some standards. Oh, random medical law. If you have to have your hand amputated, you can ask for it back.
Interesting.
Yeah. Not in every state. Some states, though.
Yeah.
You can have your appendage back. In some cases, they have that one part of them buried.
Mm-hmm.
The law gets funky when it comes to medicine and religion and just politics in general.
I wonder what the law was when Lorena Bobbitt did that to her husband, cut his thing off, and he did porn after that.
Yeah, Spanking Dick.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was called Spanking Dick.
What do you know the name of this stuff?
I didn't know there was a name for this.
Because you do not go in the medical field, not hear about a man getting his dick cut off. I seen a guy lose his dick.
Wasn't it in Michigan that happened?
Like how? Like she like?
Or was it Colorado?
She took a knife
You did
and
it in one
cleavered it
go,
off.
She was.
Well, you got a woman saying that they're gonna give you, stroke you down. Then, hey, baby, just come over here, and she slams a knife down on the counter. It was a quick sever.
I'm sure it was.
Then she got in her car, drove down the street, and apparently threw it into a neighbor's yard, and they found it and reattached it.
The only thing that saved him was it was snow. It was snowing,
mm-hmm.
and it was ice, so it was like set on ice, and they stitched his thing back on. And people were so interested that he did porn after that, just so they could see his reattached penis.
He's like, I'm gonna milk this for all I can now, damn it.
I was told this one by a professor. I was told this one by a professor, but I do not know if it's true or not. He told me there was a woman giving fellatio in Japan, and that guy was cheating on his wife. She saw him get in the car with it, and so she rammed her car into the bumper, and her mouth shut, and she ended up swallowing the member. So he can get it back.
I've heard that can happen. Like if you're giving head while somebody driving, y'all get into an accident, you can bite it off.
Oh yeah, no, that's completely true. That is 100% true. Your incisors can't sever a goddamn, human
Remember
penis.
I told you, Roya, on that show that I was watching Sex Life on Netflix. That's what happened. And
really,
he got a prosthetic attached.
Oh yeah,
and
you
remember I told you they showed it.
Yeah, I remember talking about prosthetics on one cast.
So I got a transformer dick. Autobots, roll out.
If you
don't catch your dick.
As you guys go through your daily lives, anytime you meet a nurse or a medical professional, ask them this question: what's the weirdest thing you ever found in someone's anal cavity? The weirdest thing you ever found in someone's ass, and then ask them how it got there. The answer is going to be the same every time. I fell.
No, they shoved it up there, or someone shoved it up there. We all know that.
I done fall many a time.
I saw a full-size bottle of shampoo. I mean, full size. And they said I fell. You gotta think
size queen or king on that.
How you took your pants off, you got all undrawed, and then you go and somehow fell, and that just landed in the perfect angle just to go. No, sir.
Of all the things to use,
that's not.
No,
that's not
man.
the weirdest
Y'all remember that
mother.
freaking website that we was talking about on one? I forgot
one guy, one jar.
What was the name of that freaking website? It wasn't that. It was.
It was Gore back in the day.
Gore.
Riot.com.
Best Gore.
Yeah.
It was Riot.
Riot.gore.
Where that's all I saw, potatoes in people butt, all types of stuff. I'm like,
the one guy, one jar one is probably the most egregious one, sitting there picking the glass shards out of his ass afterwards.
Oh no.
I'm trying to think of what the weirdest
thing
I
found in fucking glass dust when you take a fart or anything at that point.
Have you seen that one?
No, and I don't need to see that.
I don't want to see it.
The thing is, you see it and hear it shatter in his. He's like, it's just like, oh.
Yeah. If I remember right, that guy came out later on saying that, how he treated his own injury of tampons.
Huh?
Yeah, apparently that's the way he handled the bleeding. He shoved out the tampons up his ass and just.
Well, we know he likes butt stuff at that point. Shit.
Baby, I ain't even shoving no tampons with it.
The thing is, though, he tried to sit on it, so I think it came from the pressure. He was sitting down on the jar, and I think
there was one guy online who died from being fucked by a horse.
How you get a jar in there?
Poppers.
I still don't know how I got down that rabbit hole. I saw 2 girls, 1 cup first, then I saw that, and I was just like,
I'm sitting here thinking about the weirdest shit. I think everything I think about is going to top the next one I can name off. Light bulb intact.
Is Endya coming back?
Someone was able to keep a light bulb intact in their ass. That's impressive, actually.
Oh yeah, the extraction was, it didn't extract clean though.
She probably like, y'all heard a lot.
This is too much of a conversation.
Oh wait, garage door spring. Someone explain that one to me.
Like, was the spring encased in anything, or was it just straight up metal?
You had the fucking hook at the end, the hook at the bottom, and the hook on both ends. Metal.
No.
I don't,
because like one wrong move and that hook's gonna go in your fucking walls or whatever.
I can't understand the thought process and why shove this up there.
Is that a thing? Is that a known fetish or something?
Yeah, it's kind of I can't say legally that is, because I would convey as medical advice.
Okay.
But there is things like people who eat things that aren't food, like people who need to eat metal or eat pennies.
Yep.
Then you have people with fetishes where they need to insert something into their cavities.
I got a story about that, but I'm gonna tell you later.
I got pica, but I ain't never ate no pennies or nothing like that.
I can only think of one person where they said, I slipped and fell, and it was he slipped and fell. This guy, African American male, fell off his roof onto a rake and went up his ass.
I mean, yeah, that can happen, but it's very, very rare that would happen.
He got lucky as hell because it split the cheeks, went into the orifice, and there was minor injury.
Was that a Final Destination movie?
Yeah,
I don't know if it is. I want to see that one.
You know what? They should actually do that for a Final Destination movie. Like,
no,
go right up.
When you dream of nurses or medical professionals like that, you're gonna be like, everyone's jaded to the stuff. Oh, he got stabbed. Day one.
Yeah. Rookie.
I was like, there's a lot of things I could go on with that because I'm just thinking about anal cavity. Like, how many things I go down the road thinking I have steam, and all of it's college hazing for certain parts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I am within an hour of Notre Dame College.
People be.
Have you ever seen a hamster in a condom?
I've never seen that personally, but I know that is a thing for some people too.
And that's they do that for hazing.
What for some people?
It's like, God fucking damn. It's like we couldn't make a segment on our show.
Like they think it's a pleasure thing or a torture thing.
It's usually hazing, but I don't understand why college fraternities, you're supposedly join a fraternity to get women, but it always involves sticking something up your anal cavity. I just don't understand
the people that are okay with that, bro. I'm gonna beat your ass if you try to do something like that. I'm gonna beat your ass, like.
Right.
I wouldn't even join the party. What are you talking about? No.
Exactly. Like, I'm good on this.
Y'all doing that shit? Nah, I can get girls by myself.
Okay, run an extra lap. Okay, cool. I'll run an extra lap.
Small mammal.
Do some push-ups. I do some push-ups. But
go run up and down the stadium. All right, cool.
Said, I'll run an extra lap.
Yeah.
Shove a dildo up your ass. No.
No.
Oh.
Well, we're gonna force you. You're gonna have to, because I'm gonna beat you all up.
Nigga, y'all ain't coming out of here alive. I can tell you that.
Exactly. Nobody gonna live to tell this story.
Mm-hmm.
I had one patient who would keep coming in for inserting, sex items into his cavity and losing them. And another nurse caught this guy shoving thermometers up there. But I guess he was so loose that one wasn't enough.
Are we talking electric thermometers or the old school
thermometers? Mercury, yeah.
Just give the boy Spencer's gift card and let him go buy something that he can shove up there.
Through the cabinets in his bedroom.
What's wrong with just using regular sex toys?
Well, he was in the ER getting a sex toy removed, but I guess somewhere in his night over there, he decided he needed something up there, so he started ruffling through drawers.
Get him a butt plug.
Cause y'all imagine
we don't have those on stock, motherfucker.
I know you don't have them on stock, but I'm just saying, homeboy needs to get one for Christmas, like with a bow and everything, and go like, here, stop going to the ER, just put this up your butt. If you need something bigger, we can find you a bigger one. That's it.
Because y'all imagine having the desire to do that.
No.
I have the desire to put myself inside of people, but ending inside of me.
Exactly. I am a giver of my business, not receiving things in my business,
You know what they say, one hand takes and one receives.
I think this is the perfect launching point to go into the porn topic.
I'll bring it back up for the cast. So because this ain't gonna count for the recording.
Yeah, because it is. We got it. We keep some of that in at the beginning.
We can have some of it in. It's just be grateful that I have to kind of keep my things a little more tighter to the chest.
Oh yeah, we keeping some of that.
I would happily do a little segment on the show of Curator stories. Curator literally means one who gathers and collects stories and items. So.
No, you're doing a good job on that, aren't you?
You should do that for social media.
Definitely.
That would be dope.
Yeah, it's just with some stories I have to be, I can't put names in it. I can't put times and dates into it. I have to all put it in the hypothetical.
Yeah.
But some of the shit just
parties innocent.
Up. Like, who would think to put a garage door string up the shelf?
Do like some people and pretend that people are telling them these stories? Because I be thinking they be lying. Like somebody wrote us today
stories.
and they said this.
That'd be a perfect way. So somebody just submitted this story.
Yeah, exactly.
to me. That'd be lying. That'd be their story.
They'd be lying.
I recommend medical tattoos if you have any kind of, allergies or anything like that, or deficiencies.
That story that you sent me, Bert, was hilarious, though. The little Annoyatrons. I actually I want to get one of them.
They were on ThinkGeek for the longest time, and I thought about getting them when I was back in college. Site. And I haven't seen them since. I think they were on Amazon maybe once during that same time frame.
That's a perfect way. I wish I could do that to my ex. Put those things in there. I wish I could have done that. Annoy the fuck out of her. She don't know what
you're able to buy wasabi balls that look like goddamn gumdrops.
Oh my god! Yeah.
The random kids screaming. What was the other one?
Yeah,
like dogs barking.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like it's funny because like now a lot of the things that I look at on Reddit are actually showing up on TikTok and on my Instagram as well. And so like every time I see a funny story, I'm like, oh, I know some people that might actually enjoy this. And so then you end up sharing those with whoever.
That's like when I was sharing you guys' video. That one day, my For You page was all over the fucking place.
Well, my For You page is always all over the place.
You were sending me some stuff. I'm like, what is happening?
I'm sending all of you guys stuff because I was like, what the fuck is happening? A guy throws a fish, a block, and a necklace in a briefcase. And that thing has like fucking 200,000 likes. I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like, shit.
Well, I'm ready when you are. Endya, are you here?
I'm ready.
Sorry, I'm here.
Okay, just making sure. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your man Royalty. We're here today.
And I'm the Sensual Genius.
And welcome to another episode of the Royal Genius Podcast,
where we take a look at things affecting the Black community from a sociological and psychological lens.
Plus, we always keep it real. Today, we're joined by Curator, Endya, and Bert.
Yeah.
Like always, I'm going to be here.
We're going to talk about porn today, and specifically how it influences sex and our views.
Curator's the OnlyFans.
We gonna jump right into the first topic, which is the "What's Your Theory" topic, with this question: how old were you when you watched porn for the first time, and what did you think?
So when you say what did you think, do you like a very first thoughts? Because my mind goes like a few ways of that.
I mean, either way.
I was 11.
14-year-old male. But we understand that our equipment's in front of us. I was wondering, why is the equipment underneath y'all? It's like, you are a young man. You think like it's going to be let's line up with each other. Like, oh no, I need to get up in there at an angle.
Ugh.
Then I also want to know why everyone wanted to fuck their family. Stepdad, stepmom, mommy, this, that.
Oh, you went all the way there. Like
no, you fucking type in like any porn star right now. I promise you, if you
that's a lot of what
on that first list before you hit the fourth video, it's going to say step something.
See, like back because I might be a little bit older than you. Back when I found a certain stash of VHS tapes,
I know what a VHS is.
I was 11, right? And it was in the basement, and I took a look, and I was like, "Oh, this is that thing." Okay, old synth wave soundtracks and everything going on. Got some hair in places. Them just going at it without any foreplay or whatever. You're like, I think there's a couple of steps missing in there before you just kind of shove in there. Looking at it as a scientific perspective, I'm like, there's some terrible acting. And then there's some action, but I think there's some other things that have to happen to get people kind of relaxed and in the mood.
I could see 11-year-old Bert thinking just like that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
What steps are missing?
We're going to
fucking see it.
That I thought we were going off internet. We're going farther back than that.
Oh yeah.
That's like I remember going to my dad's garage because I was supposed to hook up the fishing poles for what we were going to do on the weekend, and in that bucket I found a DVD that said Ebony Beauties, and I stole it.
And it begins.
I stole it, Dad. That's why you couldn't find it.
Thus it begins.
When you see this, Dad, I took it. I admit it. Back then, I was like, He's like, did you see a DVD in my garage? Nope. I stole it, Dad.
And in that moment, Curator had something awaken in him that he never knew he needed.
He's like,
I say it was then I knew it was my goal to give back to the black community. I won't be happy with my dick in the morning.
Go get something, all right? Giving that dick.
Boonie liked that one. I was like, well, it's a good start. I only got you guys rolling before 10 minutes in.
So,
what about you? Endya, if you're ready. What about you?
So I was also 11 when I actively searched it myself. When I first saw porn, I was actually like, I had to have been like 6 or 7. And these were the days of DSL. Not dick sucking lips, but like the internet.
She's talking about ISPs, people.
Thank you for bringing that joke back. I forgot about that.
One of my cousins used to look up porn, and he left it on the laptop on this specific day, and I just opened it up wanting to go play some games, and I saw it and I was like, whoa, and I closed it right back. But then, like I said, when I was 11, I actively searched for it myself just out of curiosity. And I don't remember exactly what I thought after I saw it, but I kept looking for it after that point. So
that's funny.
What about you, Ryan?
So it's kind of a mixture. My first time seeing softcore porn was, of course, Skinamax back in the day.
Yeah.
And my first thought was just like, oh my God, they're showing titties on TV. And I immediately knew that my parents wouldn't be okay with this. So I put PBS on the last channel in case they walked in my room. Or Nickelodeon.
Recall.
What, Mom? I'm looking at Big Bird.
Recall, but
that's why my cock is hard.
But my first time seeing,
wouldn't that be worse? You jacking off and you come out the fucking goddamn Big Bird. Like, what the fuck is on my kid?
1, 2, yes.
No, yeah, suck it, snuffleupagus. God fucking damn. Honestly, if I'm be a parent, I'd rather see my kid jacking off the goddamn a human body than a Muppet. Come here, Kermit.
My first time seeing actual porn though, I was 15 or 16, and it was one of my friends that was a neighbor from across the street, and he was 2 years younger than me. And I tried to act like I was cool back then, I knew stuff that I really didn't know. So he's just like, oh yeah, I found my dad's stash.
Word.
It's like, oh yeah? Oh, I haven't found my dad's yet. Dad didn't have no damn porn stash. But he's like, I got the tape. You want to see it? I was like, yeah, I've seen a couple before. I was lying. And I had the VCR in my room. I closed the door. I watched that thing from front to back and it wasn't even like I was aroused by it. I was just more in shock because I had never seen penetration before. I had never seen the actual act done before. I was a virgin. So I'm sitting there like, oh my God.
Why does he sound like he's in pain when he's supposed to be feeling good? Ah!
It was an old white one too. The people were white, and I gave it back to him the next day. Just he was like, it's good, right? I was like, yeah.
What gets me is the motherfucking charities.
Some of the before. Those jokes were terrible back then. They still bad now.
Oh yeah.
They still terrible. But for me, I feel like all of us were around the same age. I probably was like the first time
Do we need to
I
sound
came
off in the
across a
90s?
VHS, because that was the same for me, and it had Adam and Eve on it, so I'm thinking Adam and Eve, but they were
Oh,
gonna find
Lord.
out that that's the
Oh, you
name of a
poor
sex
child.
store. But it had that on there. I put it in there, and they were in the Garden of Eden, but the fruit that they were eating were not apples.
This is where we start looking it up.
We're not. But
Google.
but I don't
Adam
know.
and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
I don't think I was shocked by it or nothing like that. But I remember too being a little older and like watching porn. I think with my sister, if I'm not mistaken. And just fast forward and like, dang, why are all of the scenes of women giving head? Fast forward, another scene of woman giving head. Fast forward, another scene of a woman. Like, why is this all that's on here? And I would just watch it and make commentary like that. Like,
I feel
dang,
like
that's it. It was just repetitive and it immediately was boring to me. I was like, that's it? This all over see on here?
I feel
Bringing
like
up.
a lot of the
Oh,
old porn just focused on
Yeah.
the men getting fellatio instead of the women for receiving cunnilingus like they.
For a
the
long
reason I
time
think
too. It's like Jesus.
the reason I think fellatio was so more over exaggerated back then is because, well, when you work in a certain field, you have older ladies, and back in their day, they're like, oh, that made you a slut. That was slutty. That was scandalous. And porn is based on fantasy. So there's going to be more prevalent. I told her nowadays, if a girl don't give head, she don't get a relationship.
Oh, they be in the relationships and the niggas be complaining, but they still be right there.
They're gonna be on the side with a whole bunch of other ladies.
How did I get her to give me head? You've been in there for 8 years
I'm
and you
just saying,
still
there's
haven't
some
figured
people
it
If
who
you
have
out.
got
that
8 years,
standard.
you not gonna get it, bruh.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
what is wrong with you? But
Well, at least
yeah,
ask the girl, like, why aren't you into it? Oh, you don't wash your dick. Wash your freaking dick.
Well, technically, the vagina is sterile. And that's why men have so many sperm counts, because most of them die.
Yeast infections are another thing that can happen, though, if you don't clean
So
up yourself beforehand.
I can
And,
argue that, she sterilized my dick and you can suck myself.
Then 2 days later, she's got a yeast infection because somebody didn't wash their shit for like 2 or 3 years or
sterile is
something.
the wrong word. Acidic.
sperm pretty much
Acidic.
changes it anyway, changes our pH anyway, regardless of if it's clean or not.
There's some people that
It's almost like we're not made to have sex with each other. I wonder why it's like that.
It depends on the people though too, because some people can mix and it'll be okay, but some dudes y'all be sleeping with be messing up your pH and y'all be stinking.
It's everybody, but I don't the stink part. But it's most guys. Just most. You're not always gonna have the stink symptom, which is what I feel like people look for, but it's other symptoms that you might have. But most of the time, that's what happens, which is why women always say that. Which is why we always talk about how we don't want our pH to be messed up or whatever. Because that happens most of the time that we have sex.
I tell girls that I don't care about your pH. I ain't a pool tender. I'm gonna lick it either way.
Okay. You probably should care though.
Hey,
just a little bit.
Just in case there's some yeast there, so you won't get it in your mouth.
Okay, let me out your future kids. If you have a son and they have a yeast infection, they're sexually active.
Facts.
That's how men get yeast infections. And as a grown man, our urethra is longer. A yeast infection for us would be, a slight, burn for, a few days. And we would most likely not even notice it. It's like, man, I'm just dehydrated when you're going to piss. Versus a female who's acidic. I used the wrong word, not sterile, acidic. Where it's going to be a longer process for her.
And a horrible process. That also reminds me of why I don't. That's one of the reasons why I don't
keep cranberry juice on stock in your fridge.
Because don't nobody want to go through the process of treating yourself after having sex every time.
Well,
Right.
the way I see it, in my personal opinion, if you're going to be in a serious relation with a female, you should read up and know what her body goes through when she goes through these effects and all that. Because, like, when I date, I tell people I have pads and liners in my cabinet. I have a sister. I know what the body goes through. I keep them on stock because you can be over here, we dating, and all of a sudden Mother Nature decides to throw you a curveball, and at 2 a.m. at night. They're like, well, I got that shit on stock. Why you got that shot? Respectful. They don't need you sitting there worried about, like, oh, I'm sitting in blood. Like, no, I got pads in there right now.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But
hopefully she has her own things as well. Because
yeah, but
you...
I'm not a woman, but I think you might know how life can throw you a curveball.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Irregularities and cycles, especially if you're on some kind of birth control.
What was you about to say, Endya?
I just had a question because I don't know. What is the yeast infection like for a dude? I know what it's like for women, but like, what happens to guys exactly?
I am not formally giving any kind of medical advice. Everything I say here is strictly on the hypothetical and or from personal experience. A yeast infection via a man like myself is the same thing as a woman. It is inflammation of the urethra. Women's vaginas, they have a shorter urethra compared to a man who is the length of his entire member. His experience with yeast infection can't really take root. So it would be like a burning or stinging in the head of the penis or the phallus. And he will most likely not even notice it or just think he's dehydrated because it will burn slightly when he pees.
Sounds like the equivalent of a UTI in the man.
And because men don't.
I say that sounds more like a UTI than a yeast infection.
Yeah.
But that it really can't take root. And when a young boy goes to his parents complaining about burning when he urinates, that's the first and only symptom he typically gets. He might have a little bit of discharge. It might be a little white, but a lot of boys just run that off as residual semen because when you're teenagers, you're beating your dick like it owes you money.
Yeah.
So it does not affect men on a majority spectrum for them to notice a lot of times. So when we do get a case of it, we know the boy is sexually active, which is why when teenagers come in, we ask, are you sexually active? And if your mom and daddy there, we're going to ask them to step out, then we're going to ask you again. And tell you, we cannot tell her what you tell me.
If the parents need to step out, then you
do
stupid.
That for women.
The parents be acting stupid. I sat right there with my foster kids, and I'm like, I know that they fucking.
You know how many times I've seen girls sign that paper when that question of am I sexually active? I see parents going.
I feel like parents know they will ignore it as long as it's not brought to their attention in a certain way.
Yeah, my mom still believes
like they'd be knowing.
You need to know.
My mom says I'm a virgin until I die.
have that healthy conversation. Okay, you doing it? Well, be safe about it. A lot of times it's just telling them, don't do it. Man, having sex and they live in that fantasy,
knowing that they're going to do it because you did it. Like you did it. You're a nasty mom. What do you think I'm going to be?
See, my dad was a different breed. When I started dating, I got my first girlfriend. I ain't even thinking about sex. I don't even know how to have sex. I said, hey, what's your girlfriend's name? Such and such. And he just goes, ah, cool. You fucking her? What? You're fucking her, boy. Are you fucking her? You giving her some dick? If you need condoms, I'll get them for you. Your mom ain't gonna even know. Hey, mom, that's what dad actually said to me, by the way, when you watched this. That man was probably, offering me condoms before I even knew what the fuck to do with one. But my daddy was a hoe, according to my mom.
With me, it was I came home one day after going to school, and my parents stopped by for something, and they saw a whole bunch of girls swim around me. I got back home, and on my desk there was a bag full of condoms. I'm like, that's it?
Man, your parents over exaggerating on your game.
It was like, okay, good talk, I guess. Cool.
I guess that's the passive approach.
Yeah.
I say all my friend group was dominantly female as well. And they know it's like, oh, he might be gay. He not gay. He needs condoms.
No, my parents were just like, we already know. We know. So have you figured out what your type is yet, son? What? With the girls that you're talking to.
I prefer my women like my coffee black.
I was like, Dad, girls with me are like Skittles. I like all the colors of the rainbow. Damn. I'm an equal opportunity over here.
Yeah, my mama said
Or
that
just
she
easy.
would have known when I started
That
having
too.
sex, but she didn't.
She said she would have known.
She was like, I know if if you having sex. I hate that junk for years. Like,
Really, I've heard that same thing from girlfriends I've had in the past, and their mama's like, "Oh, she got a little bit of dick. Now she getting some attitude." I'm just like, we ain't even fucked yet.
yeah, that's how they try to gauge for girls if you're having sex or not, if your mood or like your personality or whatever has changed. And it's like that's stupid.
Because I was
I
dating
don't
one
know
girl.
how my mom knew that I did it, but it was because of my girlfriend. Like she knew because she saw her. I guess it was the interactions we had, and she had walked away or whatever. And I don't know what about the interaction. She said, "Y'all did it,
It
didn't
could
you?"
be like it definitely can be told by that now.
See,
If
on
you see
the
how they're interacting, you can definitely peep that.
She was like, "Y'all did it, didn't you?" I was like, "No." And then she looked over at my dad immediately because his reaction wasn't right, I guess, for her. You knew, didn't you?
He's like, yeah. What about it?
I
He's
love
your
this
baby.
question. Any of y'all ever get this question from your parents? Hey, did you do this? Wait, I don't want to know.
No, my mama was always open with me about sex. So I knew about sex long before I did it. Like I was that kid off that Netflix show. What was it? Sex Education? That was me. Never had sex in my life, but I was telling people how to do it, how you do this, how you do that. Because my mama was telling me, and then I would go back and tell my friends everything that she told me.
That's another thing. You growing up, and you got your friends who like that one that plans to be an expert, and then you're with a bunch of virgins, and they ask you, "Oh, you think you're cool? What does a vagina look like? A gash? Well, how should I describe that to
I
you?"
actually was a virgin.
And like that's like you
I
tell
did
a kid,
not do it.
describe a penis. It's round. It has a bulbous end. It has a hole in it and
It comes in
veins.
different sizes and shapes. I mean,
It's easier to describe a werewolf than it is to describe your genitalia.
It
A
is.
man and a wolf
yeah.
combined, werewolf. Describe what a vagina looks like. Well, it kind of looks like, and then no.
As kids, we used to ask each other stupid questions because when I was young, I remember having hair was like the sign that you were like growing up, I guess, that you were like
Yeah.
ready for sex growing up. Now it's not cool to have hair, but in the 90s, having hair was, oh, you got hair now? And I'm like, never, like I never had hair.
I had someone explain to me, like, because most schools are all, shaven or trimmed nowadays. And I'm like, okay, so that's what's, accepted. And people are like, oh, I need her to be trimmed. I'm like, why do you need her to that? It's like, that way I know she's old enough. Like, that kind of tracks. If it's just unruly, she might be underage. But I don't agree with that logic fully because I card everyone I date.
Understandable.
Oh,
Huh?
yeah. We go on a date right now, and then, that date, we go out, meet up in person. I'm asking for you to see your ID.
You
All I need to
should.
know is it's over
You
18.
absolutely should.
You should.
Because I have a cousin who's on that registered list because the girl lied to him and she had tattoos. She had fucking. He was fucking 16. He's on a
Shit.
register. She is not.
And he was what?
He was 16. She was 17, but he's on the list for life. Every time he applies for a job, sex offender.
But he was younger than her?
Yep. He was a man, though. That's what it came down to, the eyes of the law.
State. By whatever state that is.
Oh, because I'm about to say,
Michigan.
huh? He was a man at
Yeah.
16?
It's by that state.
Biological male. So, yeah, that's how he got screwed, and that's what taught me coming up. Like, I'm going to card everybody.
Okay. So, moving on to the next segment, which is the Hear Me Out segment.
Oh, Lord.
Do you have any negative views about porn? Why or why not?
Race play. Like that one drives me nuts. Every time they have to do a roots slave plantation, it's like, oh, here's me getting fucked by my property. They're like, that is fucked up kind of kink.
I have never seen that.
I have not delved in that realm of
I've never come across
entertainment.
As a Native American, I have came across girls who ask me for a fantasy they have. Tell me they want to get chased down and raped and that kind of stuff. I'm like, do you want me in full like regalia too? You asking me to scalp you? Are you fetishizing me? I was like, oh, and that's what it came down to. Oh, he's a native. And I was like, I want to be attacked by a savage. I'm like, I'm not a fucking animal.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, this has happened to me a handful of times in my life. It wasn't just one person. I was like, I want you to hold a blade to me. I'm like, the fuck? So you want me to chase you through a field, throw you to the ground, hold a blade to you, and fucking rape you? There's something wrong with you, ma'am.
That's crazy.
I'll do my hear me out. So I understand it's a form of entertainment and it's a form of stimulation for a lot of people. But the thing that bothers me is how so many people cannot separate fact from fiction. So, like, one thing I realized, like, when I was younger and I was in the military and we used to go to the bars and clubs all the time and all that stuff in different countries, or, you know, even in the States, you could end up at like a go-go bar, like right outside of a base or whatever. You would always see those young cats that would come in there and they would try to talk some game to some stripper or some dancer, depending on where you're at, and thinking that they can live out every fantasy that they've seen on video just by having like a 5-minute conversation with somebody. No cool, no tact, no, hey, my name is da da da. Nice to meet you, or using an alias because you know you're in a place and you probably don't want to be known outside of it. No, but they're just going all in and thinking like, oh yeah, macho this and you girl, me, you smashing car. Like that's gonna happen like that. It's not. I'm sorry, those fantasies that you see on TV, those are paid actors and actresses that are living out a script or some fantasy of some director, and you're enjoying that. Real life interaction is not that way.
And to add on to that, Bert, you know, there is documentaries you can even find on Netflix called Behind the Curtains, where they explain that actors and all this are getting this, and then when they get with an actual serious person in the relationships, they're expecting them to do all the stuff they did on camera.
Yeah.
Where on
I've seen
camera,
stuff like
they're
that.
being paid to, and there's a few famous, artists that say that, oh, so-and-so gets paid more for doing an interracial scene, so-and-so gets this for doing a gay scene, and, you get bumps giving on your sexuality.
Yeah.
And they forget that, these are technically sex workers, and they have to, in most states, they have to get a HIV test every 3 months.
Yeah.
And so, a whole panel every 3 months, especially in Cali and Florida.
Yeah. Nurses, we that's usually, when we see our doctors, they always have that one thing, especially if you're on like pain medications or you have a chronic illness like sickle cell. They always have to do one kind of extra checkup they do on your list. And a lot of since a lot of nurses will just say, do an HIV scanning. I'm usually covered in someone's blood or bile. Just hit HIV, and it always comes back negative, and it's just kind of to us it's like a fucking it's just a cough drop. It's like HIV test.
Yeah, and it's like you see these people that don't understand this at all, and I feel sorry for those people that have chose that life when it comes to actually like having a normal life outside of that industry, because like you guys said, somebody sees a famous actress and they think just because she's done all that stuff on TV and on the internet and everything that she's going to do that in a relationship. And maybe all she wants, there's going to be some sex. We know that people have sex.
Maybe she, it wants the more caressing, slow, gentle kind of stuff.
Exactly. The slow jams and the making love and all that.
The human connection.
Yeah.
So men are like that too. And, a lot of men won't admit it because they feel like it makes it sound like a person like, oh, I want to, make love tonight, not fuck. Because, you could say there's a difference. It's like some men, emotional, but they don't want to admit it.
A big difference.
There's a difference for sure.
Say, that's what I'm trying to convey, but English is struggling right now.
That's also my hear me out as well. I don't like the unrealistic expectations that people have about sex because of porn. They expect it to be very performative and stuff like that because that's how porn is. And when you're not that way. When their partner is not that way, they're bored and they want to seek it somewhere else. They want to find somewhere else where they're gonna find somebody who's gonna do all of the things that a porn star is gonna do. And I feel like it kind of interferes with people's sex life. Some people are not even able to have sex unless they watch porn. They get because I feel like porn overstimulates you, and your partner is not going to do that. So you have to have it in order for you to have sex with that person, because you've gotten yourself used to looking at it. So
it's a dopamine drip.
You can't even enjoy real sex.
Exactly. I got something I can add on to that, because that is a real issue. Like, we'll get males coming into, the doctor's office, and they'll talk about they need Viagra. They might be 30-something, 40-something. Well, I can't get hard. Like, I can't keep an erection, blah, blah, blah. And we'll ask you, how much is your porn intake? Because watching porn regularly will affect your be able to perform with a real life woman. And honestly, it's not even them consciously thinking about porn. They're just satisfying themselves so much and indulging in sexual acts without a partner. Not even if they're not masturbating. When they get with a real person, their body is just not registering it as a sexual experience.
Mm-hmm. And that could also go into the fact that they keep bombarding themselves also with like the same type of niche or genre as well. So like they might be into.
Go ahead, use me as an example.
No, I'm not using you as an example. I'm going to use Big Booty Brazilian Quarterly. They might be into that specifically. But, they might be dating a Sarah Lee at that point.
Don't tell me that there's a BBQ thing.
I don't know. I just made that up. If someone makes it, give me some royalties, okay?
But let me interrupt you 1 second before I forget. We were in goddamn fucking early 2010s. We were in goddamn college. Teacher put in BBC on the fucking board. It's like, what does this stand for? White girl scream, big black cock! And he just goes, no, British Broadcasting. Yeah.
Well, we know what people are thinking nowadays.
We know what she's into. We know what Stacy's into over there. That's not her real name. I made that name up. Oh, Lord.
So yeah, they might be into like a specific genre, and then like when they're with the person, it's the exact opposite. And unfortunately, the brain might not register that depending on how many marathons or whatever they've been looking at. Like, oh, normally I'm stimulated by this, and you're not this. It's not computing.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like my hear me out for this topic is I don't have a negative view of it. I feel like it's entertainment. The negativity comes in with the way that you consume it and what you consume it for. And if you're not able to, if you're trying to live out a fantasy through that, then you shouldn't try to live out a fantasy through that. Like some people, I've been with people that literally needed to put on porn before we did it. No, we need to watch this before we do it. No, why? I'm here.
Right.
It's like we gonna make a scene.
Exactly. That's what I'm literally like. You're here. I don't need anything else.
And I don't really get. I understand, like y'all said earlier. I understand it's very performative. It's the same as romance books, romance novels. It has to be like that to stimulate your brain in a way where you don't need to have the touch or whatever in person. If you're reading it, I'm stimulating your brain so you can see all of this in your head, and it's getting you off like that, if that's why you're reading. But it's supposed to be like that because it's not supposed to be how you have real sex. They're doing it to get you there quicker, to get you either to get you started quicker, to get you turned on quicker, or to get you orgasming quicker. That's what it's supposed to be for.
The average runtime for a full scene is 22 minutes, where the average runtime of Family Guy is 21 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So and already people are fucking skipping past the story, skipping past the play show, especially when they almost done. They're going all the way to the ending.
Yeah.
A lot of times when they don't, then it's transitioned so fast. If you notice, they don't even show people changing positions. Really, you just she's climbing
camera flip.
Top. Yeah, they do the camera flip. They fade in and fade out. a lot of the times
They
it's
show
strictly
ratio, they show penetration, but they never show switches.
Exactly.
It's strictly for your entertainment, and the unreal expectations are real because people thinking, oh well, the girl's expecting the guy to last an hour when
And you also it's unhealthy and can be dangerous too, because you go from penetrating her in the vagina to penetrating her in the anus, and you think, oh, I'm supposed to go straight from the vagina to that, or straight from that to the
Double
vagina
dipping.
without cleaning myself. And
My
you
You
favorite
want to
is
talk about yeast infection? That's a way to get it.
right.
my favorite is the honey. I saw this in a movie. Let's try this.
I should rephrase mine now because I guess I race play was too specific. And kink assuming is what I should have said. That is Native American. You're assuming that they're assuming a fetish-sized version of me. Or it's the same thing as say they go up to a
Based
black
off
man
of
and assume he's going to be into
stereotypes.
anal.
It's based off of stereotypes.
Or they assume a black woman's going to be down with that. Or that black woman's going to suck better dick because she has full lips. It's the whole ideal they're projecting on you before they're even intimate with you. It's like, I'm a whole ass person.
Right.
Guys,
So,
don't go into that situation and don't try to do what you see in the porno in real life. Like, it's a porno, it's entertainment. View it as that, and you can get stimulation from it. It's natural. It's okay to get stimulation from it, but you still have to be able to interaction with the real person. These are not real people unless there are certain forms that are real. They're called ethical porn, where it's two real consenting adults that agree to.
Or it is more like, they call it romantic porn or passionate porn, where it's supposed to emulate a actual human reaction to a serious couple.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and if you go to the comment section, like you can see like okay, there's two people having sex, and people putting in the comments, are you guys a couple? And they say yes, and like, oh, I can tell. They can tell the difference between a couple and two actors.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's always a bare root difference.
That's definitely why I don't like porn, because it lacks that passion, especially heterosexual porn. And I think that's why most women like lesbian porn, because it's more passionate between the two people than you see a man and a woman having sex. Like, I literally do not like looking at a man and woman have sex. It's
okay. So I gotta ask this now because twin sister, and I know what she liked to watch, and she would only watch man on man. So what's the thing there?
That is even preferred over a man and a woman, because to me it seems more passionate. It seems,
for me, I've had girls admit to me that they've watched gay porn. I'm like, okay, this tells me you really like dick. I'm cool with it. I ain't gonna shame.
Right. I think it's for the same reason.
There are very few porn actors who are able to actually convey that passion in the right way. There's a few, like, I watched the interview, and it makes sense. There's this guy named Isaiah Maxwell, and the reason why, if you look at his scenes, he says he envisions himself being in a relationship and really being in love with this girl before he does every scene. So it shows through. Or a Misty Stone who invites you in, but it's very, very few. It's very, very few. Most people is just like, this is just the job, and they're doing the extras, but it's not selling. If you know that they're not really into it. They're not really into
young men that are just for the audience, young men who are thinking about bisexual as a man. They expect that part of your pay is having sex with a girl that you have no option of what she looks like or how she is. And you also will be doing this act while someone's screaming, "Go! Cut! Hey, Bert, go! He looks so sweaty around the balls. Wipe that up real quick." This is acting. So you've been the entire time while you're performing in front of an audience.
Exactly, that part. You have to maintain your erection. Go look at behind the scenes porn, the cameras that run outside of it. You just have to sit there and have a regular conversation. So yeah, I had a cinnamon bun for lunch.
So yeah, now I gotta ask.
And they're like,
rolling on Bert being the only other males. You ever been with a girl and all of a sudden you hear a bump at the night, like somebody just smacked your door and you just lose an erection? Like, what the fuck's going on?
Pretty much.
And now you
go in defensive mode at that point.
People, in between smoking, aiming a camera, tripping over a cable. God damn it, motherfucker! He needs to get into deeper. Too
Oh,
slow.
and let's not even go into porn bloopers that you might not realize too. You know, there's a whole lot of preparation on both sides to get ready for the scene. So, like for instance, when it comes to backdoor action, they have a strict diet that they got to eat and everything, and they have to clear out and all that other stuff. Let's say they miss a step. What do you think is going to happen during a scene when a whole bunch of cameras and everything are looking at you, my guy? There's going to be an eruption that's going to happen. It's going to be all over you.
And you gotta imagine when we get to the money shot, that camera is right in your face. So you got a guy like 2 inches from your junk, as you're supposed to be like, yeah, I'm into it. Yeah.
Yeah, and people think that is real, when it's like most of it isn't.
Quick side note, there's some stories of camera guys who've gotten the stuff in their face, you know. So they're that close. Like they've gotten pissed on, they've gotten nutted on and everything. And
they don't think of that aspect.
Job. You gotta do it.
They be there. I love this job.
When he's shooting,
nobody's known the struggles I
like I love this job.
So you can pat that cameraman on the head as you coming. They don't think about that.
That's disrespectful.
Hey, we can say
I'm sure a cameraman's been teabagged a couple times.
You gotta to get those angles that they do. You gotta be right there. So it's just like you guaranteed to go slide across your head somehow.
That's like when they're trying to do, you know, all internal and, you know, goes a missionary and you just see the fucking guy going to work. There's someone literally right behind his tank fucking filming that shit.
There's a guy over his shoulder with that camera.
Oh, the boom mic. You forgot about the boom.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all this makes doing porn sounds horrible.
It is though, but people don't realize it. That's why people that do OnlyFans don't do it right, because they don't have the thing. Opening up is a real thing too. And a lot of times you see the OnlyFans, but they don't open up to where you can actually see. It's an art to it. Like you can actually see that y'all just doing it. Y'all not making a show of it.
It's like,
I think what people forget is you do not get to choose your partner. So even if you're a female, you do not get to choose your partner. That so Boonie, you're on set. Then they bring in a sloppy motherfucker who's so goddamn fat he don't even take his shirt off, and you have to be there going when he got
made to get a bagel halfway through,
flipping that gut up, just sweating goddamn bacon syrup on you.
Why you had to call my name when you said that?
Because you're representing the females on his opinion. I'm being inclusive.
I mean, there's a niche for everybody, though.
Okay, Endya, what about you? What's your hear me out when it comes to porn?
Overall, I think with everything you guys were touching on, it kind of leads to the concept of. I'm sorry, I'm kind of half brain dead right now.
You're fine. We're here.
There we go. Consent. Because it's like you guys said, it's acting, and it's like you're not seeing this on camera. You're not seeing them communicate with each other, like what's okay, what's not okay. Things are just happening, and people tend to do that in person, thinking that's what you do. And I think overall, it kind of handicaps people. It makes them lazy when it comes to sex, because it's like they only have this idea. If they're basing their idea of sex off of porn, they're just thinking I should do whatever porn does. I should communicate however porn communicates. If they like porn where nobody is talking, it's like they're not likely to talk because they don't know what to say. Or
that's true.
Or when the woman says don't do this and the guy still does it, and they think that that's how it's supposed to be too.
Okay.
Right. And it's like that's terrible for younger kids if they're seeing that, because they're like, oh, well, I'm just supposed to go with the flow. Like, if that's, especially for women, it's like, if that's what he wants, then I guess I just have to allow that, even if I'm not comfortable with it. And I hate that, adults can kind of, people can tell the difference. They know that porn is just acting, but it's like kids that may pick up on it and they see it. I don't like that they're not getting a full picture of sex and all that it encompasses.
I feel like I
don't think adults do either. If I'm being honest,
that's a very good point.
There are some adults out there, that really don't know how to have that.
You do your child a disservice not having that conversation with them and explaining what they're seeing, because they're going to see it. they're going
Instead
to
of being like, why you watching that? And like taking it from them, they're gonna keep going to it.
explain to them what they're watching. Explain to them this is not real. This is your show. Just they're doing sex on it. This is the show that you watch. It's not real.
It's like if you're watching ID, just because you're seeing people getting stabbed doesn't mean you want to see a whole family get murdered. It's like it's entertainment in the bare basics. Now, when it comes to consent and all that, with men, no means no. But if you say no, stop it, you're so bad. That and then versus no, stop it, I don't like this. One is a bad read. You don't want to be the man in court, be like, no, stop. No, you're naughty. Motherfucker, she didn't say it like that. I'm being court like she didn't say it like that.
I just feel like if she say no, period is no. All that playing it though regardless of how she say it to be, especially to be safe, no matter how she say it, don't do it. Like
you gonna have to completely agree.
You got to give me the consent to keep going after that because I'm gonna stop and like, hey.
This is what I'm gonna recommend.
Also, women, y'all need to make it clear. Stop playing.
Thank you, Boonie.
If you really don't mean no, then don't say it.
Because some people want to play like that.
You putting other women in danger when you do that. So stop playing. It's not fun to be chased or whatever y'all think it is. That's not fun.
That's exactly the point I was trying to make. It's like exactly. You don't play with that.
The consent game is not a game.
It's not at all.
You guys found me on Dungeons and Dragons TikTok. You know what we have in D&D? Consent sheets. You hand it to the guy who runs the game. What are you okay with your character doing? Can I put your character with an NPC? Can I make a relationship? Can I make sex jokes? We have a checklist because of consent. And it's like, we need this for actual sex.
Yeah.
And it's like, because some girls do want to play that quiet resisting and want the man to be a man and just take it. I'm like, you want me to be a rapist is what you're asking.
That's not
and that's the shit that blows my mind.
Cool.
That's the biggest turnoff for me. Period. Like,
and I was listening to this podcast where this guy was like, he was talking about how he would be so conflicted growing up, like as a teenager when he started having sex. He was like, you have these girls that are like, no, stop, and then when he stopped, they're like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, you told me to stop. Like his uncles always told him, and his father as well, like, if they say no in any kind of way, like, you need to stop. And if they are saying that, they're not mature enough to have sex. You don't want to have sex with them anyway.
Exactly.
That's the exact point I was trying to make. You got men who be like, oh, you stop. Once they say no, and they're like, what the fuck you doing?
That's not fun. That's not cute. I don't know where y'all learned that at.
You can blame porn because that's a kink.
Yeah, like it is. That's one of the reasons why I don't like
all media.
It's like there's a lot of.
You're right, Endya. All media.
Some people say that
BDS and impunity.
The woman is supposed to play coy and she's supposed to act like she doesn't want it because you don't want to come off as like a quote unquote fast girl. So it's like we're supposed to do that. And I'm not saying like it's good to do that, but it's like I can see why girls grew up doing that.
Me personally, I'd rather be blindfolded tied to my bed being used and made her bitch. Because I'll consent to that. And I can even top on that. If a man says no, a girl will never take it serious.
And you should definitely
no, I do not want you to do
if
this.
a man says no,
you like it. You like it.
Both ways. It's weird. Regardless of who's saying it, no means no.
Men are dogs, and they don't believe you when you say no. They'll be like, because I've known men who have been raped.
You know what's crazy? How would you not believe a man who tells you no?
Because we'll consider, like, what Endya said.
If men are cool with it, they're cool with it. But if they say no, I'm going to believe them.
Endya made a good point. It's like men are seen as the sexual, prowess. They're the ones who lead the show. So if they say no, people ain't taking it serious.
I would believe them. That reason is exactly why I would believe the no.
Well, and then the other thing that we're not talking about is some people are just innately selfish, even when it comes to an act like that. It could be, yeah, sex is a two-party system, but because people have that carnal desire and that need to get off, sometimes they override what the other person is going to say, and it goes on both ends. So
Definitely.
when one person says no, another person may not be on the same wavelength and goes like, well, I'm still going to do what I want to do because I need this. That's how they're feeling about the whole situation. Communication is key in from the beginning of whatever that relationship is, even if it's a one night stand, just understanding what you're getting yourself into. Because a lot of people, unfortunately, don't understand the whole thing about not sticking your and crazy or letting someone's crazy into you, period.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody's crazy. It's like,
Yeah.
It literally is simple. If somebody say no, whether they're a man or a woman, it's no. It's not cute to tell somebody that they don't mean no, or to act like you mean no when you don't.
I feel like it's important also to be able to read the person that you're with, even if they don't say no. You can kind of read their body language. Are you uncomfortable? Ask those small questions. Are you sure you're okay with this? It's not gonna ruin the mood. Are you liking this? Are you into this? With like small stuff like that. People say consent will mess up everything. No,
But they don't.
it don't
They
mess
don't.
up nothing.
They don't say it because they don't care if you're comfortable or not. A lot of people don't care. They just want what they want. So even if you are uncomfortable, because let's be honest, there are people out there who are never comfortable having sex, but they're in relationships with people who want to have sex. So if 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 you're not a person that likes sex, and I ask you while we're having sex, if you're comfortable and you're saying no, that means we would never have sex.
Some people
and
are not okay with that.
I've
And
heard
some people
similar.
aren't okay with it.
I guess I've heard a lot of stories of people. You have a partner has a higher sex drive than the other one, then the other one just trying to feed their partner and keep up with them, and then neglecting their own emotions. And
Right.
then that partner's like, okay, well, we were together for the first 5 months. You were fucking me every day whenever I wanted, and then now that was something that starts to slow down because you're evolving into a more intimate relationship, and it's like, well, he's gonna think what I do, or she could think what I did, because maybe your partner just isn't there with you. It's like it doesn't mean you can't be together by all means. You're gonna be someone who has a high sex drive with someone who's basically asexual, but communication always comes down to the main point.
And you have some people that are just hormonal in the first place. I'm not saying that as a means of bashing anybody, but sometimes like body chemistry and everything, some people are not able to maintain those levels for sex. So you have some men out here that, yes, unfortunately, ED is a thing biologically for some of them. And then you have some women that cannot maintain lubrication during the whole process either, just because of how their hormones and everything is going in their body.
Right.
It does not make them a bad person just because of that issue. It's just something that you have to take into consideration.
I
And
feel like it's important to have that conversation, especially when it comes to porn, because it's unrealistic because everybody's always into it all the time. Have these real conversations with your partner and figure out how you guys can work that out between y'all. And sometimes, they may not just it may not work for you because
It may not.
if you're a
and
high sex drive person and you need it and you're not getting it from your partner, then
And
that's
I'm gonna
not
say this too: if you're with somebody who doesn't like sex, and if they're asexual or they don't really like sex that much, and they tell you that they're okay with you having sex with other people, you should probably take them up on that offer rather than trying to force them to do something that they're telling you they don't want to do.
you're
If
100% right,
you're
Boonie.
going to stay with them, you should probably take them up on that offer instead of trying, because I just can't understand a person who knows that their partner doesn't like sex but is still okay with having sex with them. I just wouldn't be cool with that. Like, if you don't want it, I don't want to have sex with somebody who doesn't want to have sex.
exactly. I don't understand that
I don't
process,
get it.
that thought process of wanting to do it with somebody that doesn't want to do it with you. Isn't
I
that
can
a turn
I
off?
can touch on that one.
Isn't that
Right.
a turn
Why
off for
is it
y'all?
not a turn off?
That's an immediate turn off. If you don't
Me
want me, I
too.
don't want you either. That's it.
Me
It's
too. I don't
over.
get it.
Yeah,
Let's
it
say,
crosses into cringe territory in that regards.
say to interject if I may. Like, Bert, you did bring up a good point on how biologically can play a big part in it because there is conditions amongst men where you are born with multiple testicles other than just two. Yeah, a man can be born with 3, 4. And now for the Boonie's point of where it comes down to a partner not being as into it, I would identify myself as a high sex drive male, and I was with a person for 7 years before she passed away, and she was not as high sexualized as me, but and she even told me I would have a pass if I wanted to find another partner. I told her no, I want to have sex with you. I don't want anyone else.
Mm.
So to me, if you're just going on how frequent you have sex, you're not even in a mature mindset. Because I was only wanting to have sex with the person I loved, and I'd rather go without and watch TV with her, eat dinner with her, go and have a little cute dates with her, rather than have 20 minutes of sex, an hour of sex, or all that. And in our relationship before he passed away, she would even try to overcompensate onto my end, trying to just give me sex that she knows I like it more. And it didn't have the same meaning for me. But it's love plays a big part when it comes to that. Because if you love someone, you will not expect them to service you because they're not a goddamn item. They're not a sex doll. If you want that, you can buy a pocket pussy. And hell, real life dolls are about fucking $300 right now if you want to buy a sex doll. Yeah. But no, for me, it was about when my partner was alive and trying to move on after that. It's like I just took the whole teenage thoughts out the window. Like I didn't care about how frequent it was. It's who I was with.
Yeah, and I feel like that's important because if you're going to stay with that person and you only, like you say, you only wanted to have sex with them, then you have to be realistic about how often that's going to happen, and if you're okay with it not being as often as you want.
That part. Definitely make sure that you're okay with it. And if you can work that out, that's on you. But if you're not okay with that, that's okay too. But it's not okay to try to force them to do something when they don't want to do it, or step out on them when they told you not to. Hey, I'm not okay with that. Okay, not okay with that. We split ways.
I was offered that, and I told no because I'd rather just been with her. But she got called home a little too soon. Sorry to bring everything down.
Oh no.
Sorry about your loss, brother.
Appreciate it.
You good, but I understand that what you just said.
Oh no, she had a big purpose in my life. She's the one that changed my whole thing. And I honestly give her credit for making me a man from a boy. And I say that's the big reason why I got the tattoo in my chest, because I had a heart ripped out like I never replaced.
Definitely serve her purpose in your life.
So I never forget.
Because I'm pretty sure you grew a lot from that situation, from that relationship, even with the loss, which is something that's hard to deal with.
It is.
Did you want to wait on the next topic?
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to bring everything down.
Oh no,
you're good. You're good.
You good. I'm just about to get some more water, so I'll be back.
I'll wait till
we can wait. Yeah, we can wait.
Okay.
I'll say I'll take that as a bathroom break.
I will grab some lemonade that I have up here.
What kind of lemonade?
Popeyes. That's where I got the wings from and everything last night. So I have a little bit of lemonade and cheese. What was that?
I said you getting some twisted tea. You lying,
bro? I almost took a stop at 7-Eleven to pick up some stuff beforehand because when I saw that topic, I was like,
Motherfucker, you brought that twisted tea up when we were talking the other day, and I never had this shit. I literally stopped to see, what's the big deal. I'm like, this motherfucker just tastes like, lemon zest and tea.
So yeah, I mean, it's some good shiz. I'm just saying, like.
You're telling me. I fucking got that 12-pack and I killed it. I forgot I was alcoholic.
I went hard on it for, a while too. Like, that was like one of my go-to cheap drinks. And then all of a sudden I saw like the guy bash the racist in the head with it and everything. And I was like, oh, so we're in a meme now. Okay.
Hilarious.
Oh my God.
Imagine the amount of pressure he had to hit him with to break the can though.
Right. But yeah, no, I was looking at my clock and everything. I was like, yeah, 7-Eleven, I could be over there, get back here in a couple of minutes. I tried to go by the liquor store to stock up my cabinet and everything before, but the line was out the freaking building because, it's the holiday weekend.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to bother with it. I'm like, I got lemonade and iced tea here. Well, that's fine. I can make something work.
Because you were bringing that stuff up. I kept seeing everyone talk about it. And when I come home, like, in the area I live, there is just a random ass liquor store just smack dab on the river in the middle of nowhere. And here's the funny part: right across from that is the courthouse,
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing else. And then you keep going, then you're in town.
Well, they're like, if you're having a bad day, just go across the street.
One thing I
Yeah.
realized is the difference between here in Virginia and most of the South and California. The liquor stores are just sell liquor mostly. Like the liquor stores in California be markets. You can get liquor at the grocery store. You can get liquor at pretty much anywhere. So if one store is packed, you can go to one right down the street.
See, in my area, the grocery stores that sell liquor, it's always behind lock and key. So we might as well just go to the goddamn, corner store and grab the shit where I can pick it off the shelf myself without having to wait on someone for unlock it, carry up the register 5, wait in line, show your ID. That's one thing I do like about liquor stores. If I come here, maybe once a month, and I've been doing that for about a year, they'll just stop calling you because they know who you are.
Well, our liquor stores here are ran by the state. That's the big problem. It's a state government organization that runs all the hardcore liquor stores. Now, mind you, in the past couple of years, man, my TikTok is blowing up today. In the past couple of years, like Walmart, I think Family Dollar and a couple of other stores, they've gotten the licenses to start selling booze in there. So like now you're starting to see like Crown mixed with cola and lemonade and Fireball whiskey and just some bottom shelf booze and maybe some mid shelf stuff in there. But it's nowhere near as extensive as going to an ABC.
This is where we state, for the sake of the channel, we are not promoting any kind of drinking.
No. Not at all.
In general, any drinking you do, you are responsible for your own thing, even if you are inebriated.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you do when you are drunk, you only held to the cases of the law.
We are all over 21 on this channel.
Yep.
But you brought up Twisted Tea, and I was like, you know what? As a recovered alcoholic, because if you would have met me 3 years ago, I was drinking, quarts of goddamn rum like nothing.
Shit.
And it was like, oh yeah. I felt to a bad spot. Well, I could drink, I could do 16 shots and not feel shit. Me and my twin used to be alcoholics. Well, we say used to because people said you're always one, but no, you fall into a bad time, you use it as a cope, and it's like with grief counseling.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of people turn to alcohol because it's always consistent.
Yeah.
But one shot turns to 5 shots, and the person never thinks they have a problem.
Well, yeah, I completely understand because I know, like, even for me, at certain points in times, when I was in a darker place, the bottle was there. So I get it.
So, like I sell myself that I am, a recovered alcoholic. I'm 2 years sober, but do I still intake alcohol occasionally? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not doing it for the reasons I did back then. I'm not doing it to get drunk. I'm not doing it for that. Sure, if you catch a little bit of buzz, okay. Because like I said, I picked up a pack of Twisted Tea because I kept hearing everyone talk about it. And when we had that conversation, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I need to see.
Yeah, because it started with a chair. I'm like, you need the Twisted Tea as the backup. Just saying.
Yeah, the chair video. I'm like, I need a. Everyone kept telling me about it. And when you brought up, I sent you the chair video. Like he comes out with a Twisted Tea. I'm like, I need to taste the shit.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, I drank that shit so fast because I forgot I was alcoholic.
Yeah.
And then you're 12 cans in. I'm like, I don't feel nothing. I'm like, oh yeah, I used to be a drunk.
Well, and it's like the first time, I think one of my homies like handed me a can of it. He's like, yo, you like tea and you like lemonade, try this. I was like, oh, it's almost like a Long Island, but it tastes more like tea than anything else. I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
No hops in it. It's tea leaves.
Yeah. I was like, okay, this might be a thing.
And people would have fucking caught me when I was, 18 to 21. They're like, motherfuckers, I was drinking everything that came known to man.
Yeah.
It's like you have a male twin and a female twin and a boy being drunk in the shit. Here's the funniest thing about me and my twin sister. We are each other's best hype man.
Oh, I'm sure.
Drinking, she's been pumping me up, gassing me up like I'm the sexiest shit, and I'm pumping her up and gassing her up like sex shit because we're the same person. We walk into a rave, you already ain't good enough for us.
Well, see, I took my little sister out to a bar once or twice, right, for her 21st birthday. Because she's like, I really need a drink. So she's like telling mom this and everybody else. I'm like, you know what? Let's go to a bar. I'll show you why you shouldn't say you need a drink. Man, I had her drinking like everything on the shelf. She's like, I don't want to do this no more. I'm like, okay, so we figured out that drinking is not your coping method. I'm like, let me finish my shot at 151 and we'll go somewhere else.
Since we said Twisted Tea so many times already, that should be our first sponsor if they see anyone fucking sees this shit.
Oh my god, yes.
I'll say, I will turn this label to the camera if you stop paying us.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do the joke for you. Hey, Will, did you pay for us? No. Just blur it out. Pixelate it.
Oh my god.
Like America's Got Talent. Everyone's drinking in a Pepsi glass. Like, well, we know who's funding that shit.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong, Pepsi's good shit too, so there you go.
We do not promote underage drinking either.
No.
Do not drink or drive.
Not at all. Need everybody to be safe on this holiday weekend.
Any joke is made is due to an online persona of an exaggerated, character.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should cover our bases, at least my ass.
Facts.
Hey, well, Bert, you too. You're federal.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
All right.
Don't have to do anything till Tuesday, thank God.
Fucking right.
We did answer some of the y'all did answer the Let's Fix It segment. The question was, how do you suggest people view porn so it's consumed in a healthy way? But I do have a little bit to add. If y'all don't have anything else to add, we can
Feel free to
move on
add.
to the next one. But if y'all do, feel free. But they already mentioned to basically see it as entertainment. Like, it's just entertainment. You're not supposed to be using it to learn how to have sex. And I think a lot of people use porn to learn how to have sex rather than to be entertained.
If you wanted to learn sex, there is porn sites where you can actually look at tutorials and they go into details about pleasure, not calling her a dirty whore.
There is porn that is specific to teach you, like.
Oh no, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's just people are taking the family fetishes, and then they go, oh, this is how it should be. And that's why, for me and my relationships, like the whole race play and demographics and that kind of the cosplay aspect of it, it was such a big problem with it. It's like, yes, I've been to anime cons. I've had sex with cat girls. And it's like, never did I ask the bitch to meow.
That's another topic that I feel like we should cover one day too, when it comes to cosplay, anime culture, and sex, and the influence and how it kind of goes hand in hand. I feel like that's something that I feel like is important, since we all cosplay or we all watch anime, we all consume it, and we all cosplay as well. But
that's like when you have to start checking out how many of the long car have I fucked.
Tia, Nelu.
Oh, I didn't say that. 3.
Because if you say Nell, I'm side-eyeing you.
Nelly,
I mean the fucking
when she's older. When she's older.
I was about to say, which version of her?
No. We're talking about full-figured, grown-up version.
The replacement 3. The replacement 3, not the original fucking Centaur. Shit, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, before she does her resurrection, when she gets taller, yeah, that version. That version.
The fucking one, I can't. Now I lost the name because I just remembered there's 2 3s. I forgot about fucking Mia, but
Norietta.
One, the water aspect. She has
that was Tia.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she was 3.
Then who's the one with the cracked mask?
That was Nell.
Nell. I did not fuck Nell. Yeah. Okay, I'm on the right one.
Nell when she's older, not Nell when she's a baby.
I forgot all about that bitch, honestly. I forgot that she was technically number 3. That's why you had me. I was thinking of Nell, but I was saying Mia.
Yeah, remember Norietta broke her mask and then she turned to a kid, and then when she finally came to and turned back to full adult Nell, then it was like, okay, now you're cool.
she should have had more than just that one scene of her being underpowered.
Mm-hmm.
She should have.
They had the flashback, then they had her transform. She's going to be in 1,000-Year Blood War, by the way.
She already in it.
I've been in the manga a little bit.
Back in her adult form.
Okay.
Yeah, she transforms back in adult form.
Because she the reason why Ichigo went to Hueco Mundo.
Mm-hmm.
So
but I guess that's now like a transformation for her instead of like how she normally is because of the cracked skull thing.
I'm ever since fucking goddamn Ichigo would not reap Ukiura, I'm team fuck Ichigo. Ukiura should have came back for this fucking arc. That's like, we're gonna give him a whole human love arc the way he starts believing what a human heart is, and we're just gonna turn him to vapor. But here's Grimmjow. Fuck Grimmjow.
I mean, Asnot should have stayed in longer, personally, I think.
I like Grimmjow.
The thing is that when turning me against Grimmjow is the fucking fangirls of him.
Mm-hmm.
Ukiura had a better story, a better story arc, and a better premise in the story. And Grimmjow is like, I ate people. That's why the hole's in my stomach, and I'm angry. I got my arm cut off. Now I want to fuck Ichigo up. When I could even beat Shinsuke.
You sound biased.
Oh, I'm definitely biased.
I mean, I thought Grimmjow was badass in his own right, but I believe Ukiura was still a cooler character.
Yeah.
But no, Infinite Regeneration, character development, let's just build it all the way out and bring back the guy who just wants to fight Ichigo because he's strong. Okay, he took the CBZ alphabet. Let's fight Goku because he's strong.
Okay. To get back on track.
No. It was an intermission.
To get back on track. So for the Let's Fix It segment, I just kind of, just to add on to what y'all were saying earlier about not seeing porn as, about only seeing porn as entertainment because it's only entertainment. I just kind of feel like y'all have to find different, and we'll talk about this in the Wealthy Health segment, different sources to learn about sex, because I feel like that's largely why a lot of people watch porn at first. I do feel like eventually, because y'all learn a lot from it, you could tell when a person learned from porn because of the way that they have sex. You could tell.
I mean, that's most of America at this point.
But I also feel like, okay, I'll talk about that in Wealthy Health segment. But I do feel like y'all have to find different sources to learn about sex and to remember that it is only entertainment and real people don't have sex that way. Some of the things that you see is degrading. It's very how do I want to say it? It basically represents the vain side of humanity, the selfish side of humanity, and what you want in that aspect. Meaning, like when we talked about consent and all of this stuff, the side of humanity that doesn't care about any of that stuff, that does not care about being considerate of your partner and all of this stuff. You just want to satisfy your sexual desire, and you have to remember that it represents that side of being human. It does not represent what the human experience is about when it comes to sex. So seeing people, the categories and stuff like that you see on porn, and seeing people do certain things is not realistic, because more than likely when you want to have sex with your partner, it's not about just having an orgasm. It's about connecting, whatever. And I really and honestly and truly do not care what people say when they try to make it seem like, oh, sex is just having an orgasm. Like, I just want to get mine and I want to keep it moving. I don't believe it, because you're still a human being regardless of what of that part of yourself that you want to ignore. I feel like it's more so about connecting with that person that you're sharing a relationship with. So you should be having sex in a way that shows that, rather than having sex in a way that represents your primal part of being a human, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
You're talking about how some people see it as a primal urge and they're trying to sate their hunger, where other ones, when you're in a more mature relationship, you're going for the emotional thing,
right?
The emotional connection, which a lot of men that I've talked to over the years, they'll say, like, if you ask a man right now, when was the last time you cried? You had a cry, and crying after sex can happen amongst men. It is just like because they don't get that vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not shaming any man that's ever done that. I've heard it happening from my field, and even women can do it too. They cry after sex because they fucking had an emotional connection that they did not normally have. Where when you're a teenager, you're just having that itch and you're just trying to scratch it. Which I see Bert's eyes crunching up, so he's questioning me.
No, not at all. I'm doing a survey on my Chromebook over here, but yeah,
working hard.
No, there was an update that happened recently, and I've been wanting to test it out to see what's going on.
Didn't mean to call you out. You just had that, I'm thinking about this look.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's a good point. A lot of people see it as a, just a physical connection, but there is an emotional connection, especially if you do have a long-term relationship with person. You can't be with, a girl for 5 years and her still be, daddy's bitch. I was like, man, I share a house with you. We eat together.
And also, even doing that, having sex in that way always isn't healthy.
Yeah.
No,
it's cool to do
true.
it sometimes, but when you're doing it like that always, that's not healthy, and you need to start looking at yourself like, why is this the only kind of sex that I want to have?
It also, comes down to maturity. Because I can admit, with my partner, she made the first move on me, and I didn't fucking see a thing. I'm just thinking, man, I gotta go to work today and all this. That I didn't think I was gonna have sex before work. It's like that's why I always made the joke amongst my friend group. I'm like, did you fuck her? Or did she fuck you? And my sister has a running joke: if her bra and panties match, she fucked you.
Because she wanted it. Clearly, she was planning.
Bra, black panties, she fucked you. Whatever color you want to pick, if those colors match, she fucked you. You didn't fuck her.
Regardless of how my panties look, it's always gonna be that for me.
You're like, you're already here. You know what to do.
The last thing I want to add for that before we move on is I feel like due to traumatic experiences, people turn that part of themselves off in order to get to so they just make it just about, oh, I'm gonna get my nut and leave.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have an orgasm and leave instead of focusing on the actual connection, because you're right. Naturally, as humans, we desire that connection, and there's no way to get around it unless you try to turn that part of your brain off. And once you train that to yourself, yeah, it could be just that for you, but you had to turn that part of your brain off to get to that point.
Young men, young women.
When you get to that point, there's still that part of you that still desires that connection. It's just that you've gotten really good at ignoring it.
Right.
Well,
but it's gonna come out. It comes out in another way. For
the younger folk, if you think this person is cute, sexy, all that, and you just want to fuck them, go to the bathroom, rub one out, and then see how much you like them after. The exact moment after.
Post nut clarity.
And post female nut clarity too. I'll say I even called out my chick friends out on this, or female friends, if chick is now offensive. But how many guys have you gone out with just because you were hungry? Boonie, you ever went out with a guy just because you were hungry?
No.
It's like, well, I thought I'd like him better on a full stomach. He was talking about Red Lobster. I didn't have to pay for it.
Boonie don't play those type of games.
I had one girl try to pull that shit on me. She was, we had a Chinese place. You order your main dish, and this bitch is ordering 5 entrees. And then I was like, she's trashing the food the whole time. I picked her up. I drove her there. I picked the place. I planned everything out. And she just hated on me the entire time. You know what happened? I got in my car and left her with the bill.
Endya, were you about to say something?
As you should. I was just gonna agree with Boonie. I've never done that before either, and it's like I know women that have done that, but I don't get it because I'm like, if I want to eat, I'm gonna just go buy it myself.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not gonna sit there with somebody I don't like just for having to pay for my meal. Like, I'm gonna be upset with myself for having to sit through that bullshit.
Me too.
I'm gonna go through it myself.
You can even scroll through TikTok and say girls like, "Oh, I'm just manipulating." I'm sure, because why should I fucking spend my wallet when I can spend his?
Because honestly, my time, because I value my time, and spending that with somebody that I don't like just because I'm getting a free meal isn't worth it to me.
Y'all be selling y'all time for nothing.
For
a burger and fries.
And
to
baby,
be
that's a word. Selling
do
your
not
you're selling your time, bro. You can't get that back.
and to state it as a non-gender area. If you're a male or female and you're going on a date with someone just because you want a free meal, you are not ready for a relationship at all. Because you're just seeing that person as a wallet.
Or just
That's
because
like,
you want to have sex with them.
Right.
That's true. Because that's the same thing. If you're just, going with something that is, okay, think of like Sims. If you're trying to feel fun, enjoyment, leisure, anything like that out of someone else's wallet, you are not in a relationship. You are not emotionally strong enough for a relationship.
That kind of goes into the thing where I think we're going to talk about it one time, but the transactional relationships, you know.
Oh, awesome!
We definitely talk about that.
That one will be fun.
But if nobody has anything else to add, we can move to the story time segment.
My only thing to add is at some point we need to follow through on a con idea and we just film an episode of all at the same table. Like we all meet up at a con in Virginia. We should do a goddamn cast, even if it ain't Saturday, of us all at the same table.
That would be.
You're buying this with tea.
But we're gonna get a studio, bro. We're gonna have a studio.
Yeah,
I want to see Boonie with a can in her hand.
All right.
That would be okay. We plan our trip. If we plan out, so you saying when we plan our trip to go to the con,
we need to film a goddamn episode. Okay. If we can get all to one goddamn room, I'll bring goddamn. I know y'all heard of Cards Against Humanity. I don't know if you ever heard of Cyanide and Happiness.
I've heard of Cards.
Yeah.
I have the entire card game and every expansion pack, even the racist one.
Cyanide and Happiness is one of my favorite comics, so hell yeah.
Okay. Let me put that in perspective. There was literally a pack called the Racist Pack, and it was only on the pre-order of the GoFundMe launch. They call it the Racist Bad History Pack.
Yeah. All right, I haven't seen that one, so yeah.
I like I said, I loved, like you said, I fucking loved the Cyanide and Happiness, and when they had a GoFundMe, I jumped on that card game, and I got every package. I will bring that to the con.
I bought the game on Switch.
We definitely should do that then.
It's like I had the hard physical. I still like the hard copies.
Okay, but do any of you have a story of a time porn influenced your sex life negatively, and how did you deal with it?
Oh,
I think I'll go first with this one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What are you saying, Endya?
I can chime in on that. I guess it's not necessarily a story, but just like looking back on my sexual history. At first, when I became active, like I thought that I had to give blowjobs and I had to swallow because I was like, okay, well that's what they do in porn, and guys seem to like that. And back in the day, like a lot of girls didn't do that, so I was like, oh, that makes me different. That sets me apart. So I'm going to do that, even though I absolutely hated it. I can't stand the way I had to come to Jesus with myself. Where I was like, bitch, you don't even like the way that shit tastes. You don't like the texture of it. Why do you keep doing that? Like, this shit makes me fucking gag. And some people even like that. But it's like, I don't like that feeling. And I had to tell myself, you don't have to do that.
It's like, I just want to add on to that, because since I did make the joke that I won't be with people who don't give head, it's like, I have talked to my partners and asked them, do you like doing this for me?
If your non-negotiable is head, don't change that. Just
I
because
made the
of
joke.
What she said.
It was a joke, is what I made. I'm trying to clarify my own image.
It's okay if she feels like she doesn't want to do it, but it's also okay if you need that. It's fine.
Two things can be true.
Well, both things can be true.
I don't want to become the ass of this channel too fast.
You good?
But no, it's like it goes back to maturity every time. You should ask your partner. Because your partner will probably do something they don't really like doing to make you happy, but you shouldn't be conscious of that.
Yeah.
And if you disagree, you can never think of a time when you were younger that you did something just for your other partner. Because it's a give and take relationship.
No, yeah.
My story time is basically what I was telling you guys earlier about how the girl wanted to watch it, every time. So it was a negative thing for me because I'm just like, why did you need to watch it? So it made me upset, and eventually I had to stop messing with her. You know, it was like not a serious relationship, but her and I hooked up like 2 or 3 times. And the first time I'm like, okay, maybe she just wants to watch it. I'm curious, you know, but I'm here. Why do you want to look at that when I'm here?
Right.
I don't want to look at that when you're here. Like that. I understand. Like I could watch it with somebody that I'm with in a relationship, but it's the first time we're hooking up, and you want to look at the porn first. What are we
That's a
doing
good
here?
point.
What are we doing?
I think the weirdest thing for me was there was one girl I was seeing a long time ago, and I think we decided to, share our browser history, right? And compare notes.
You fucked up.
Because we both were freaks, okay? So this wasn't a completely fucked up situation. But I found out she was just a little freakier than I was, right? So there were a couple things that she was into, and she was like really feeling it, and I'm like, yo, I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, that's a thing, and I want to do it. I'm like, I'm not down for that.
Did she come up to you? Can you show me your liquid snake and hit the Metal Gear, Daddy?
She didn't do that necessarily, but she had like a lot of group stuff in there and everything. Just like degrading and all that. And I'm like, no. See, you got to understand, for me, it's me and you, not me and all my homies and everything, okay?
Well, she wanted people to like come like do a train on her?
She wanted a train. She wanted a train bad.
What's the difference between a train and gangbang?
It's the same thing.
Okay.
I think
I didn't have an answer.
The only difference is a train, people go back to back to back. A gangbang is like, you know, same time.
At the same time,
DP, all
one foot after another. He busts his nut, next guy enters right after.
Yeah.
They swap like,
because I've been told that only if you have 2 guys, that's considered a train. But I never considered that a train because I'm like, if that's a train, that's a very short train.
It's a threesome, but guys refuse to give us that.
No, you can have that because
they want us to seem slutty, or it's a train because you had 2 guys. That's a threesome.
This is why I gotta ask you to stop.
I mean, either way, I'm not into it. Okay, and that was kind of like my okay, no.
This is just a personal, like for me. Stop being offended when a medical professional asks you if you have done sex work and had sex for money, because we have to ask that fucking question. Because of shit like that.
I'd be offended when medical professionals be like, "Are you sexually active?" And I'm like, exactly what does that mean? Because I've activated sex before.
Like,
it's not active.
So. Okay. Are you sharing any kind of bodily fluid with another person that is not your child?
Why are you sharing bodily fluids with your child?
Because when you have milk, they are not your child. Breast milk, bodily fluid. I'm covering my bases. Say, me and Royal had to talk about malpractice insurance.
It's supposed to be, they're supposed to ask it, but it's like, what does that mean? I feel like questions in the medical field need to be more specific because people, a lot of the times, are not forthcoming with the information because of how the questions are asked. I think you have to ask some people things directly for them to be like, yeah, I did do that. Because a lot of people...
malpractice comes in order. Because if I look at you and say, hey, did you suck 10 dicks this week? And like, racist.
I'll be like, 1 maybe, but not
What, you think I'm a whore? Why would you do that? But no, fucking
maybe 1.
I think
1.5, but not 10.
It's like, what, you trying to get out of a ticket or something? Come on, you want me to be direct? I'm being direct right now. Why did you suck it?
No, what I mean is like, instead of being like, are you sexually active? Have you had sexual intercourse? Have you had oral sex? Ask them specifically.
Some of us, well, depending on the state, some of us will ask, have you been sexually active in the last 3 months?
Yeah, and also, that too, time limit ask. Because if you ask me when the last time I had sex, I'm a blank. I don't know.
The reason we ask that time limit, because if you contract HIV, it can be in your blood up for a week and still test, you're negative. And then you can come back 2 weeks later and test negative. And then after 3-4 weeks, it will start popping up as you being positive. So that's why we tell people,
I think you should ask the time limit for sure.
But like you said, you don't remember. but we have to ask.
If I don't remember, I'm gonna be like, I stopped counting about 6 years ago.
And we get a lot of
like
people who just stop counting or don't even, entertain the question.
Yeah, but I
Why
do.
do you ask the money question? Like the sex for money, what does that have to do with like a medical condition?
Because the sex for money is once again, I am not responsible for anything I say. My certification, I am not giving any kind of medical advice. This channel is not giving anything in particular to the advice, race, or anything on kind of hate speech. Hypothetically, when people ask if you exchange sex for money, they are asking if you are a porn actress, a sex worker. You could be a hooker. They cannot divulge this stuff if you are selling your body for money illegally and or legally. The thing is, we are looking for things like HIV, syphilis.
So is it to gauge how often you're having sex with people?
No, it's mainly looking for HIV, syphilis stuff, because HIV can be in your blood system for, 2-3 weeks before you even test positive.
It sounds like
you can get infected.
a risk factor thing. So you're at a
Like,
higher
Royal,
risk.
That's what I mean.
Right now.
That's what I was trying to say, basically.
Well, you could get infected right now. I test you. 3 weeks, I test you again. You're negative. Then all of a sudden, you go to your doctor a month later, and you're HIV positive, and you haven't had sex with anyone since your last because, well, doctor, I got tested twice, and I was negative, and now we're looking at malpractice. That's why I was explaining the difference between nurses and doctors to you earlier, Royal, because the malpractice insurance, he can fuck up, kill somebody, and the insurance will cover that. But it's ultimately trying to control a contagious thing in the because I think it's kind of convenient that HIV only popped up in a lot of black communities and never the white communities. But
yeah, because when you go to the OBGYN, that's all you hear. Black women are mostly at risk for HIV, or they're the highest.
See,
most at risk
when
for
I was
HIV.
in college,
and it's like, is it black women or is it gay men? Because y'all say in the media, y'all say gay men, y'all say the LGBT community, but when we're in the doctor's office, y'all say black women. Which is,
well, here's the funny thing is, I really think that it's funny how HIV targets the black community and the gay community, the two communities the Catholic Church really don't like. I say even COVID wasn't that specific.
Right.
They probably
you like that one, Boonie. I saw that.
Get tested in black men.
Say that again, Endya.
I said they probably say that because they probably mostly only have statistics on black women. More black women are likely to get tested versus black men.
Yeah.
And just going off my own personal story, it's like I always get tested.
Yeah.
And some of the guys that I've been with, they're like, "Well, if you're clean, I'm clean." I'm like, "That's not true."
Yep.
That
happens a lot.
I'm fine does not mean you're fine.
And that's also like, stop acting like y'all not sleeping with other people.
It's like, when I made that joke on one of the episodes when I say I would leave a bunch of HIV tests on a counter, and someone said, "Oh, it sucks to be you." I'm like, I'm clean. That don't mean you clean. I say,
a lot of people feel that way. Well, if you're good, then I'm good. It don't work that way.
It don't work that way. It also don't work that if you got it, that don't mean that I got it too.
From a professional standpoint, black women tend to be a lot more up on their health because they are better educated on their health and the risks they take. Well, black men, can take, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I am not brown, is they take it more as the conquest, stereotype. Oh, I've had a body count of 15. And they ain't even thinking about anytime they stick themselves in somebody, they are fusing immune systems. They are fusing fluids.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of black men think that they can't get stuff a lot of the times. I think it's like, I'm immune, like that. I could never get that, or I don't have sex with people that look like they got HIV. I don't have sex with somebody that look like they got this, so I'm good. That's not how it works.
I can dial it back to a simple idea. I remember being a little kid when they talk to you about backwash. Like, your daddy takes a drink and, you thirsty, you're hot, you take a drink of his drink. I was like, to this day, if my dad, it's fucking 90 degrees out, my dad has only water bottle, I'm going to take a drink. He's like, well, I just drank out of that, Bubba. I'm like, Dad, I am 50% of your DNA and I'm 50% of Mama. I ain't worried about anything from you. And it's like, that's why, when I'm with a partner, it's like, if we had sex and all that kind of shit, we already in a mix. I ain't worried about getting something. If I get something, it's because you were wilding, not me. And it's like, I keep up on my health. I gotta get tested every 3 months.
Yeah,
because it goes.
everybody should get tested every couple of months. They do.
Now, if you're a medical professional and you work in a hospital and you come in blood and body fluids, especially in the trauma wing, you are going to be getting tested every 3 months, if not more.
Yeah, I feel like
Because I need to.
I really and truly think they should start making it mandatory.
For a lot of things, it is. But for me, it is.
I'm talking for the general public, because like some people really just don't get tested because either they're afraid to have.
They're afraid of the answer,
or it's like I could never have anything because look at the people that I have sex with. They be the main people that
the crazy thing is you can literally get an STD from a toilet seat.
Exactly.
No, that's a bit of an urban myth. You cannot get herpes from a toilet seat.
Not herpes. But like, the
HIV, if you are ready to put your coochie into
not those,
blood.
Not those things, but like
chlamydia you can get from a toilet seat, bacteria.
You could get crabs from
oh yeah, true.
From
crabs,
Boonie,
also shave. Crabs is just lice that affects the pubic area. And fun fact for you men, crabs can't affect your beard because it's the same goddamn hair as what's down there. Same texture and everything. So you can have crabs in your beard. So if a guy goes down on you, you get crabs from that, it's possible.
Yeah. So it's different ways that you can get it, but most STDs you definitely have to swap bodily fluids.
It's just a lot of things comes out that media puts a bad spin on it, and I'm motherfuckers think you can get herpes from a toilet seat.
No, not herpes.
It's like, I'm just using that as a baseline because that's the one I hear the most.
That's crazy.
You don't know how many my family members. You know how many times I've been called at middle night, 2 a.m. Like the Ebola scale from a few years back. I think I might have Ebola. I'm like, are you bleeding out of your ears now? No, shut the fuck up.
Not Ebola.
Hang up. I got called at 2 a.m. asking if a motherfucker got Ebola because he had a cough. That's the worst thing about being a medical professional in your family. You become the doctor of the entire family.
Better safe than sorry, I guess.
Has your mama ever called you to look at your daddy's dick? Yes,
no.
I'm bringing that up. Oh, he has a skin tag forming. It's like, does he have something? He used to party back in the 70s. They're like, no, it's just a goddamn skin tag. He nicked himself while shaving.
He used to party.
No, you gotta see your dad's dick. You get called down to your parents' house to look at your daddy's dick.
He used to party back in the 70s.
Yeah, and you want to know what really makes it better? Your mom's like, well, why are you afraid to look at your daddy's dick? It was your first apartment.
Technically, hers.
That's all you, bro. No.
Her uterus was, but okay.
No, my mama went on to that joke. She's like,
well, no. For y'all, yeah, but for us, it's uterus.
My mom fucking responded to that. The daddy was the first apartment. When she finally got to her, he's like, oh my god, and I stretched my legs. It was cramped in there. That's not my joke. That's what I grew up with. So we talked about sex over tea. So.
Oh yeah, we talked about in my family. We talk about sex too.
I say my mom we about 5 years old. My mom talked about what do you call a man that eats peach? I call him precious.
I don't necessarily have a story, but I will say that before I lost my virginity, whenever I would have sexual experiences with guys, I realized that they didn't really know how to have sex with a girl who was a virgin. They didn't know how to have sex enough to know how to handle a virgin, basically. And that was like when I was having my first sexual experience, that was always the thing that I was running into, like, and it would be guys who were supposed to be experienced, like they were having sex with a lot of women, but they didn't know. And that's one of the first things that I learned how to learn about sex. Just because somebody is having it does not mean that they know what they're doing. They're just having sex. That don't mean that they know.
The quantity does not just match up to your skill level.
That's the first thing I learned. And also that men don't know how to have sex.
Come down to the race. Get you a snag.
Like, being with a.
Go ahead, Endya.
Huh? Go ahead.
Okay. But I was saying that makes me question myself. Like being with a guy that was a virgin, I low-key felt like I didn't know how to have sex. But I was like, I don't really know what to tell him. Like how to tell him to be better at it. You know, like that shit is tough. Like that's no
Explore
easy
and
task.
communicate.
I don't know if y'all have ever had to teach a guy how to get more comfortable with sex, but that shit is hard.
Not yet.
I
Boy,
think
when you
it's
pay me
mostly
enough.
going to be hard because you're a woman and he's a man, so it's hard trying to figure out how to get him to understand how to do it. If that makes sense, y'all got different tools, and you don't really know how to guide him to you. But I just kind of just tell him what I do to myself, what I like.
One of the best tips I ever got from a woman during intercourse was fix your rhythm. Like it was a rhythm thing. She said, imagine the song is playing and you doing it to the beat. Keep that beat going. I was just like
R&B, brother.
That works unless you ain't got rhythm for real.
Right, and it's like, what do you do in that case when they don't?
You ain't got no rhythm. It's like,
what do you tell them?
I think some people are just naturally more awkward than most people. So, like, even in situations when you're having sex, it's hard to guide them because they're awkward about everything. So, but I kind of feel like you just kind of have to know that person. Like, if that's how they are, you have to know and not make them feel bad about it. But also, the reassurance, like, because every sexual experience shouldn't be looked at as, and I guess we're moving along to the wealthy health segment. I guess this can go with that, but I feel like every sexual experience you should not expect every single person that you have sex with to be professionals. Like they know what they're doing, especially I feel like women expect men to know how to have sex. They feel like men are supposed to because they have more of it. And I feel like that's unfair because that's not true for a lot of men. Some men may have a lot of sex, but that also doesn't mean that they know how to do it just because they have been doing it.
And just because he had a body count don't mean he fucking knows what he was doing. He was spraying and playing.
Exactly.
And even if he knows what he was doing with his last partner, doesn't mean he knows what he's doing with you.
Exactly. Everybody is
they ain't the same.
So when teaching somebody how to have sex, you're really just teaching them how to please you specifically, because you don't got nothing to do with who else they have sex with. So y'all are just focusing on each other. So he teaching you how to please him and you're teaching him how to please you, and you just guide him what you want. What do you need stimulated? How do you want him to enter you? What do you need done to you before? How, and to guide a person through doing it. I just kind of picture myself doing it. For instance, if you're trying to teach a guy how to do cunnilingus, I would compare it to kissing.
Do the alphabet with your tongue.
Yeah, I would compare it to kissing because I feel like it's more similar to that. I guess depending on how you kiss, but I feel like everybody kisses basically the same type of way, and I feel like that should be, it should be common.
No,
that one's not even a joke. When it comes to cunnilingus, I tell people continue doing all uppercates. Just draw an A with your tongue, draw a B, and keep going. When you find a letter that's making her crush your head, stick to that letter.
Because it depends on how.
It depends on person to person.
Using your tongue too, but yeah, like I said, it does depend on person.
But those are corrections that you're correct, and you have a partner that is more or less experienced. Than you. Don't look down on them. Don't shame them for it.
Right.
Look at it this way: you have the perfect opportunity to teach someone what you like, and at all times. And it's like you don't go to it's like cooking. You don't just buy all the ingredients and say, put yourself in the motherfucking pot. It's like, you guide him, her, they, them. Tell them what you like. Communication is always the biggest thing when it comes to sex amongst couples, and none of them do it.
That's true. Because I feel like people don't want the task of having to teach somebody how to have sex because they feel like you should already know how to do it. I don't understand how people come to this.
Crazy to me.
I don't see how people come to that conclusion because a lot of us don't learn about sex ever.
Exactly. Not many people come from a culture where you talk about that sex with your parents, eating pussy, sucking dick, all this kind of shit, STDs. Now, okay, you as a man, female, they, them, his, it, whatever, and you're like, okay, he's cute. they are cute, they are attractive, they're going to be a good, parental figure, this, that. You're able to judge them on all these levels, but you can't talk to them about sex. You can't tell them what you need in the bedroom or what you like in the bedroom. And if you can't fill on these, how can you find a way to keep you satisfied so you don't end up, saying, oh, I had 2 kids of you, you're a great. Like, then we talked about in the last panel, like, oh, he's a great provider, he's great this, but he has a small dick. Like, things he cannot help.
Yeah.
And I was like, I believe we talked about this before, but it's one of those things. Like, he checked every box, but he's missing that one box. Talk to him. Talk to her. Talk to they, them, it is, and or what.
But I feel like people don't want to because it's like you should already know how to do that.
And it's unfortunate. The wrong way to look at it.
It is.
But it's unfortunate because like our culture looks at sex as a taboo subject, even though it's constantly in your face.
Mm-hmm.
No matter no matter how many times you see it in your face, apparently when it's like 2 people sitting down to understand what they like about each other and what they actually like and to discuss it, it's always that taboo thing like, oh, I don't believe you said that. I wasn't good enough. Why is that?
Yeah, and
there needs to be.
Like I always say, there should be progress reports. Like, give people progress reports and like say, hey, you did this good, but maybe you should work on this a little bit. Maybe you do more of this to be better at this or whatever. And you have to not be afraid of criticism, but it has to be constructive. Do not make a person feel bad for not being good at something the first time.
Yeah, don't gaslight them.
It's the way that you present it when it comes to something like that.
Right.
If you, especially, if you come forth with, like you said, oh, this was good, I like this, but I would like more of this. Could you
exactly?
And if you start working like that, you'll get better results from your partner. If they care,
right? Because you do have some of those people who don't want you to tell them what they need help on. It's like, I know what I'm doing. I've heard people say that. I know what I'm doing. Don't tell me what to do. Obviously, you don't if they feel the need to tell you what to do. Like, some people get offended when you try to help them out.
Yeah. Personal story. A girl was giving me fellatio. I corrected her that I don't like this. I don't like it that way. Let's just say she was a little too toothy. She had a biting fetish. And I corrected her. I'm like, you don't know what you're doing here. Yeah, but, No. And she fucking says, I know what I'm doing. I'm like, bitch, I understood every word you just said. You do not. I should not be able to understand English. I can speak 6 languages. I understood every word out of your mouth. You don't know what you're doing. But chime in, please.
Instead of saying you don't know what you're doing.
I only said that because I said, hey, baby, I don't like the way you do this. And I'm trying to correct her, and she get mad. I know what I'm doing. You knew what the last guy liked. You don't know.
Exactly. You know, just because it worked for somebody else and they didn't complain doesn't mean that the next person is going to feel the same way. Everybody doesn't like the same things when it comes to sex. You have to learn what your partner like, and you have to actually listen to them and care. But honestly, let's be real.
You still there?
I think she froze.
Yeah, I think she froze.
Yeah, she's frozen. I need to screenshot that.
While we're waiting on her, I just want to throw in that some people just are sexually incompatible. Like, you can try to communicate with that person, but it's like y'all just don't work sexually, and that's okay too.
Yeah, you're 100% right, Endya.
Go find.
Is it back now?
Like, just go find somebody else.
You're back.
Quickly.
Okay.
You were staring up at the sky when you stopped talking.
You said honestly, and then
I honestly don't remember what I was saying after that.
I brought up how she's performing for the last guy, not me, and then she's assuming that every snowflake is the same texture.
Right, which is not true. Like, but I say honestly, half of the people don't care. Like, half of the people that you come across and have sex with or in relationships with, they don't care what you like. They just care that you're having sex with them. They don't care about improving in the bedroom. They just want to have sex and keep it moving. They don't care that you were satisfied. They don't care about any of those things. They just want what they want, and that's it.
See, and that's why I keep preaching, like, with at least this cast, I kept preaching maturity, because I had a partner who had a lower sex drive than me, and she checked every box in my heart other than that one. And like, I'm not gonna, I saw myself having kids with her and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, just because she doesn't want it as often as I do is not a deal breaker.
Right.
And then your partner, you see sometimes that they're forcing themselves to do it for you because they want you to be happy, which it's a good thing that that person wants to be happy that bad, but you need to be able to realize that she's doing it to make you happy and reciprocate that. And, reassure them that they don't have to do this for you.
Exactly.
Say, I'm with you because I love you, not because, what you can offer me.
Right.
Because I can go out my door right now and bring some pussy home within a fucking hour. I promise you.
And you have to make a decision too in a situation where you have a partner who has a lower sex drive, or if they're asexual or not. You have to decide if you are okay with not getting sex as often, because just because they don't like it doesn't mean that they're not always going to want to do it. Sometimes they may want to do it, and you have to be okay with just having sex in those moments. And if they want to do it to make you happy, and y'all have communicated that and you're okay with that, that's cool. I wouldn't want to have sex with somebody who's just doing it to make me happy.
Exactly.
But if
you're do okay with that, then that's on you.
And some people, they do it just to make their partner happy, and then never tell the partner they're doing it just to make it happy. And then they start thinking, it's like we just started dating again, and now we fucking all for 3 months straight, like we're teenagers again. But they're not communicating that you don't want to do this as much.
Right.
And you get that person used to doing that, then they're just thinking, oh, what? Because men can have body issues too. You got with a man when he was 25, he was cut, he was still in sports. Then 5 years down the road, he puts like 20 pounds on, or say he got in an accident, he got burned up his arm like he a firefighter or something. He's starting to have body image issues, and then the sex drive just starts dialing down because you're not interested in it. He's gonna start thinking like, well, am I fat, or is she talking to another man, or say, why is she pulling away from me?
That's when what you said comes into play: communication. You have to communicate with your partner always about everything, but especially about sex, because I feel like that's one of the things that we don't communicate properly about. It either ends up your partner cheating on you with somebody because they're not getting satisfied, or both of y'all are not happy and y'all are just going on with the relationship like
going through emotions.
Right.
Yep. And this is why sometimes I will advise men and or women, because when it comes to like things like Viagra, it's always on the man's standpoint, his sex drive, and maybe the woman has a dip in her sex drive, or she just doesn't want to, but you're feeling insecure, you're feeling old, now you're thinking you need Viagra. Maybe you're intaking too much porn, you're taking in too much entertainment. The sex drive of your brain is derailed because you're intaking too much. So, and such, I would tell people, okay, imagine you and the person, your partner you're with, are 60, because you're not really, and you have erectile dysfunction, you don't have sex anymore. Do you still want to be with that person if you can never have sex with that person ever again? Then why do you want to have kids with them if you only need to have sex with them? And I say that's why I always advocate bunny ranches like down in Nevada should be legal. People who want to sell their body and people who want to pay to satisfy their needs, go for it. But do not expect your wife, your partner, or anything else to be your personal whore.
Yeah, and I feel like I know that a lot of couples are not open to say. What you about to say, Endya?
What did you say, Endya?
It's lit up like
I think her audio.
I think might be a little bit of delay.
Yeah.
I think it's the audio because they've been doing that for a while.
It's lighting up and going out.
Endya, check if you're on mute or not.
Too bad we don't have a camera that we can see if she's frozen.
Say that again.
Well, her box is lit up, so she said something.
She's talking, but you can barely.
The reception's off.
Hear it. Yeah.
See, on my end, every time you guys talk, you light up in green.
Oh, she did a call in. That might be the difference. That's solely on the network.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about
She's talking,
call-in.
but you can barely hear it.
I only have one ear.
But well, going into the wealthy health segment, we did talk about some of the things that you could do in relationships to improve your communication and sex or whatever. But do y'all have any resources people can use to learn about sex in a healthy way so they won't rely on porn?
Oh, that is such a hard one.
I will say I always call this person name when we talking about sex, Shan Booty.
Yes.
Go to that YouTube, go to her YouTube channel, and she has so many videos that talk about sex and relationships and a lot of things. And that's somebody that I've always looked to. I've learned a lot from.
Her YouTube, her Instagram, all of her social media platforms. She is a very informative person that you can get big facts on sex from, and she is not biased.
I think we should let's say your name again for the cast so we can hear it clearly.
Shan Booty.
Shan Boodram. There's a real name.
Shannon Boodram.
We'll have to put like some kind of tag on top of it later.
Yeah, I'll definitely put it in the description. Well, we'll put it in the description.
Right.
There are some Reddit communities out there where people can talk about sex and everything, like ask men, ask women, so on and so forth. But you gotta be careful, because if you go on a Reddit, you're one step away basically from going into a porn thing or a not suitable for work. So, easily just go on Google and type in Reddit how to something, and it might put you towards the right path. Just saying.
Hey, let me. That's a good way to expand on a thought I had, but because like especially with the BDSM community, and I even see this on TikTok. People talk about doms and subs, and there's a very thin line between domination and abuser. And by some people might see that, oh, I'm your daddy, you do as I say, bitch, and you fucking say obey when I tell you to. That BDSM is based on consent and pre-laid rules before you even enter the relationship. Now, just because you were with one girl who wanted to be bossed around, you basically used her as a walking whore. That is not BDSM. That you were being an abuser, but if she was consistently okay with it, yeah, that was one person though. But it does not mean you're a daddy. It does not mean you understand the BDSM community, because that whole community is heavily based on rules, communication, and how you interact with each other.
And there are many communities out there for that will teach you the simple things on that.
And there's also the pre-care and aftercare portion of things in that community that you don't see a lot of time, especially in porn. You don't see the process of getting prepared to do these acts, and you don't see the process of after you do them, the care that you have to do to your body, because something like BDSM does wear and tear on your body, and your body has to be prepared to undergo those things. You can't just tie people's wrists in a rope for hours and not do something before, or tie up your body, hog tie somebody for even 30 minutes, or even 5-10 minutes without doing pre-care, because that can be dangerous.
Exactly. And then you say, we get people who wear chokers, and then people assume that like, okay, she's down with doing this. Like,
thank you for saying that, because I wear chokers a lot.
I got chokers and collars in my goddamn web trial I was going to bring up. But like I wanted to bring up a few. Like you're military, so were you ever stationed in Germany?
No, I was not, unfortunately. Wanted to be.
Because I wanted to bring up how Germany has an annual, BDSM fair. A parade that goes around that talks about BDSM. You see people in collars, chains. You could see a woman going down the street with a man in a collar. And this is a consensual relationship between these two adults. Mm-hmm. Let's say the domination and the subjugation of two people. And that's why, I always bring up like the whole thing is, why I don't like the niche of race play, because people will take that from a BDSM point to a very dark point really quickly.
It doesn't. Like, people aren't educated about it, and they'll try it
in bed. It's like, I'm not going to do that.
There's a couple of those, like even out here in the States too. So like I know here in Virginia, in fact, there's actually a couple of social clubs like that get around, and I may have accidentally ended up in a bar that they were actually at one
I want
night.
to accidentally end up in one too, but I don't
Yeah.
want to go on purpose.
Well,
Just
yeah, it was like
accidentally.
it was the
accidentally
closest
slide in
watering
there.
hole.
Accidentally.
Yeah, it was the closest
Oh, before
watering
I
hole
ended
that
up.
night, and you saw them doing their things and having fun and all. And you might have seen a couple of spectators try to get a little bit hands on and a little bit approachy. And yeah, that did not go so well because, like Curator said, there's a lot of rules and a lot of standards that are set up in that whole community.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, Homeboy tried to get a little bit handsy with one of the subs there, and that did not work out too well for him. He got kicked out, of course. But yeah.
Like when we were younger, me and my twin, we would go to rave scenes a lot. I mean, legitimate raves, not some that were told to the police. And this time we start, this time we end. And then before I know it, she's goddamn dancing to the guy that's sea walking. And I walk up there and I just take my ring off my hand, and put it on the wedding ring finger. I'm like, "Can I move in, motherfucker?" And he just backs the fuck off because you don't integrate on another man's marriage, fucking marriage shit.
Yeah.
And, like. And the whole thing is, since we all male and female, a lot of people don't see the twin aspect until after we state it.
And,
so you two aren't identical?
See, biologically identical means we shared an egg. So we can't be identical since we're two different genders.
Okay.
Say that's two different eggs being fertilized, and we both developed at the same time in one person.
As far
so
as
we are sharing the same DNA strand, but Rule 63. You're a weeb, right? Rule 63, equal and opposite gender part. And that's why I said, like, when we go to a rave scene, why we are the most cockiest motherfuckers, because she's my hype man and I'm her hype man, because we are the same person, just the opposite gender swap.
As far as resources, I can't think of any on the top of my head other than, of course, the shameless plug for our network and Shan Booty. But I have a couple that I can think of. I know I will, and they will all be in the description. So please check the description because we'll have a lot of links in there that will be very helpful for you, and that will touch on a lot of these topics and will get you the right perspective on them.
I was gonna say, and we will also start having more sex positive conversations as well, and also connect with people who do it for a living and invite them to have conversations with us, because I understand that a lot of people are not gonna go look for it, because you can definitely Google resources or whatever, different websites. Like this website I have pulled up called blackrj.org on comprehensive sex education, but you could just type in sex education, and I guess if you want to be race specific for Black people, for whatever race you are, because some of us do understand it differently when it's from somebody that looks like us. So yeah, but Google Shambu Ram, like we said, and like Royal said, he has some people. And when I think about some of the research, because we did this for another podcast episode that we did. I'm trying to remember all of the ones that we put, but I'll just go back to that video and look what I put in the description.
And we will and like she said, we will have guests on here to give you a professional perspective on these things. We're working on that now to have professionals give you guys, we'll have a real deep conversation. If y'all need to really email us at Royal Genius Reviews, because any questions right there, that'll be the perfect time when we have those guests,
Exactly.
And just because the podcast is, for the Black community doesn't mean you can't participate in those comments and be involved. Say, I'm Native American. I'm as shining as moonlight with my backlight right now, and I'm still here, and no one's treating me any different. We're still talking. So you can get involved with our cast and all that.
Yeah, we're specific for the Black community, but anybody can watch us. I feel like we don't have a biased opinion about certain things or whatever. And you can also learn about us if you're interested from us, if that makes sense.
I was joking with Royal. My role here is to be the hype man of the radio show. Laugh at your jokes.
You
Voice
also
the
add
consequences,
a lot of value because you know a lot of medical information that we don't know. We learn a lot
which
of
I
things
legally
from
cannot
you.
provide.
Every episode for real.
We learn a lot from you.
I appreciate that, guys. You guys are my friend group. I honestly, when I started TikTok, I never thought this shit would ever fucking happen. There's like people ask me, "What are you doing Saturday?" I'm a member of an all-black podcast, and like, what the fuck? It's like I knew he was in the black community, but goddamn, he's stepping up his game. I say, it's like, oh, but now when it goes back to the subject of like sexual pleasure, I can't give an unbiased opinion on that from other than what I like and what I enjoy.
Mhm.
And even on a medical standpoint, there is nothing on pleasure. I can tell you about nerve pathways. Oh, like spanking at
That
the base
has
of your
something to do with
spine,
it.
your tailbone, as you would call it, the sacrum. That is a huge nerve cluster, and that's why a lot of people tend to enjoy spanking when they're older, because it's sensating those nerves, which they have not had stimulated since they were kids.
Mm.
Yeah, that when you slap the ass and it makes that ripple, that's what the ripple effect's going to, that nerve cluster.
I do feel like even with like you said spanking, I just feel like you have to educate yourself before you start trying stuff because y'all just be
You
trying
need to know
stuff.
the why first.
Yeah, you have to be educated and also question why you're interested in a lot of the stuff that you're interested in to get
Oh,
to the problem.
I did think of something. It's like because the why. It's like say you're with a new partner and it's your first time. You obviously are just going to do your first time as you should. Just have sex with the person, and then after that is when you should start researching like what they like, and after that, but you ease into it. You don't go up to a girl saying, "Hey, do you like doggy?" Check. "Hey, do you like this?" Check. "Do you like how I do this?" Check. Learning what your partner likes and then looking at it is a progress. It's like a video game. You can't just skip from mission 1 to you can't go from Mario World 1 all the way to fucking World B.
Game Shark.
You definitely should have those conversations too before you have sex. But I know there's a lot of y'all who have sex with people that you're not planning to be in a relationship with, so that's all y'all do. But I feel like even in those relationships, you should still talk about sex. Even if the relationship is just y'all having sex, there's a responsible way to do that. Like I feel like people should be more responsible when it comes to having sex rather than just acting on a desire and I just want to have sex with this person because I'm attracted to them or whatever. You should still have a conversation with that person first so you'll know rules so you won't there won't be things that you do that this person doesn't like because otherwise how like I don't really understand how y'all develop those relationships with no conversation.
See, I was good. I agree completely because this is a woman can do this just as much as a man. So you guys you're meeting up. You don't really like the same TV shows. You don't like playing games together. You don't like this, but the sex is good. And then all of a sudden one of you, man or woman, since I am a male, I will fucking just be biased there. I start pulling away from the relationship because I'm meeting someone that entertains the parts of my mind that aren't sexual. And then she wants to act up like you cheated on me. And like, girl, you know what this was. You call me when you lonely and cold at night, but we can't talk about the weather together. You knew what this was. Don't demonize me when you've been using me as a piece of dick as much as I was using you for a piece of pussy. Because you tell me a woman can't use a man for sex, I would say bullshit.
They definitely can.
I'll say she might be lonely and wants some pipe, and you were the only one up at that night. Here's my poem. Get me on a freestyle.
It's definitely possible for both. That's why I say people or y'all because it goes both ways. A woman can definitely use a man for sex. And if those are the type of relationships that y'all want to have, that's fine. But you have to take responsibility at some point for how you're doing that, how you're conducting yourself in those relationships, because then it's like you doing it for like it's just something to do, and then it's like why?
like this is why we need to do a subject of like gender, differentiations or the opposites of genders. Because being a male twin to a female twin, we had the argument when we were teenagers. I'm like, I was always more the lovey-dovey type, I'll admit it, and I'm still that way to this day. I'd rather have an emotional connection with someone. And I'd be young, I'd be lonely. I'm like, I can't get a girlfriend. And then she's like, well, you can just all you gotta do is talk to someone. I'm like, that's what you can do. You can go into a bar right now with no money, and everyone's gonna fucking pay for your shit. And she's like, nuh-uh. And then we tried this. We actually tested this. She didn't pay a motherfucking dollar. And then I tried it. I would have had to pay people. So the next time we went out, we went to a gay bar. That bitch had to pay for my drinks. I didn't pay for shit. It's like, I ain't that way, but I didn't pay for crap. And it's like, oh, this is what it's like to be my sister. And I'm not shaming anyone that is that way.
A lot of guys do bring that up when they're friends with women and they go out with them. They get a lot of free drinks because men buy those women a lot of free drinks or whatever. I don't take free things.
Curator
personally, as a woman, I don't take free things because I don't want to feel like I got to give something to you.
Curator
a lot of things you don't have to give something, but a lot of those situations you're expected to. They expect people to, and you meet those guys later on. That's why a lot of women, if they play it smart with those situations, they leave out when the guy doesn't see. Because that guy will follow you to your car. That is a red flag. If they did,
that is a huge red flag. I knew one guy who did that shit in college. He went by the nickname of Q. I will not give his actual name out. But the only reason he came out and became friends with me in college is because I dated primarily, black women, and he fucking thought that was fascinating to see someone as pale as me in a all black college, dating black women. And then I saw this motherfucker. He would not take no for an answer. He'd follow you all the way out to your car. I saw him get cussed out by some Latino women, and he's like, "What the fuck they say?" And he looks at me because I speak Spanish, and was like, "They called you a dumb asshole, motherfucker." But it's like no,
people like that are creepy.
Yeah, it's like when you give off those rapey vibes. Like as a portion of my life, I did spend it as a bartender paying for college, and I will tell you I worked in a men's bar because the tips were better because everyone wants to take home the bartender. They don't need to know they don't have a chance.
A men's bar?
Gay bar.
Oh, okay.
People that are going to want to fuck me and take me home because I'm a bartender. Okay. And so that's how I'm filling up my tip jar. And there's a trick. Everyone, when you go and buy the bartender a shot, when they turn around and they pick up a clean shot glass, it's another glass that's just full of water. Or they'll do this exact motion. They keep the lips sealed and put it down, and they didn't drink anything. They're getting hit on all night. And when you are a bartender, like if you ever see a bartender, you just cleaning a glass, it's because if we aren't always moving or always doing something, people get nervous because they're the first ones to call the bouncers. So if I see someone getting aggressive with Boonie and I'm not, polishing a grass, it's because I'm watching the guy talking to her. I'm about to ready to, tell Bert and Royal to throw that motherfucker out. That's why, they have the term angel shot. And all you gotta say, guy with the, ball cap and blue shirt, and then I'm gonna stick security on his ass. And then she's gonna be sitting right in front of me for the next goddamn 2 hours. She's here for her own goddamn fun, and that's the role when you play as a bartender. It ain't all, I do shots, I get people fucked up. I'm responsible for that whole motherfucking bar.
That's
the tips are only that make it worth it.
Have you transitioned to the next topic yet?
No, I was waiting on you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's cool. You was filling up that time while we was waiting. But moving on to the next segment, which is the What Would You Do segment. Don't forget to send your questions to royalgeniusreviews@gmail.com if you want advice or you have questions, or if you want to be a guest on the podcast. email us, but since we don't have any emails, we're going to continue to do the questions from the advice columns. And I wanted to stick to the topics. So we're gonna stick to the topic of sex. I ain't gonna just say porn because I combing through these questions and finding some specific to porn, but we gonna keep it in sex. So the first question: my wife freaks out when I touch her vagina or try to go down on her, even when she wants to try to do it. It's like an involuntary panicky reaction. We've tried to work on it, but to no avail, and it wasn't always like that. Have you heard of anything like this?
She's a sexual assault victim.
That's what it sounds like.
Very much
Trauma.
so. Trauma.
That's the
Sounds
first
like
thing that triggered. And like I can't go too deeply into that, but I've seen similar cases.
It definitely sounds like trauma. So I feel like if you're in a situation where this is happening, just ask if anything has ever happened to them. And I feel like there's no unhelpful advice
But
for
then again, the
this.
partner might not
Yeah.
want to admit that, or they're suppressing it.
Yeah,
It's one of those
there's
things.
no-
I would have advised them to go to couples therapy or trauma therapy. But you can't go to trauma therapy. Well, you can, but you shouldn't go to trauma therapy until you have someone who thinks you have trauma, who can diagnose trauma.
Well, and then the other thing is too, I think she said 6 months, for the past 6 months or something. So in that case, maybe something did happen, like at her job or somewhere else, not around him.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe her journey for therapy might be a personal one. Maybe he shouldn't get involved with it until she's ready. But,
Right.
just having that discussion and saying, hey, I don't know what's going on. Maybe go see a therapist or whatever in the nicest way possible, because sometimes that won't work for people. That could turn
Yeah,
into a whole gaslighting ordeal. Just find your way to be the light for her and then go from there.
yeah. You can suggest therapy, but guide her to it, because it ultimately is her decision when it comes to therapy. But
But
you can't just. Oh, I'm
also,
sorry, Roll.
also don't press the issue with her and keep trying to do it. You have to communicate, hey, I'm not comfortable because I feel like you're not comfortable. And that's a really big step that you can take. And that might get her to see that, hey, like not everybody's trying to force that. So maybe I should, figure out why this is. Because ultimately it's her thing that she needs to figure out with herself and her body, you know? Why she
Did,
has that involuntary response to being touched like that.
did you say only with oil, or just and being touched manually at all, or?
They weren't specific. They were just saying like anytime they try to go to her vagina area, she reacts like that. Even when she wants it. Even when
So,
she asks for
so
it.
she's not sexually active. Is she sexual? This good example. Are you sexually active? Are you taking phallus penetration?
I think they are if they're married.
Well, people don't necessarily have to steal the deal, but then she could
That's
push
true.
past the trauma. See, that gets into a very complicated area. And just think from my standpoint, because if what we would call it when it comes to fingers is digital penetration, because your digits is the name of it. And then if that's a problem, and then oil is a problem, when it's really all focused on your pleasure, the only thing that rings in my head is, what trauma are you suppressing? What did you not tell them? What do you don't know, didn't address as a problem to yourself because you weren't there? Maybe she waited till marriage. Maybe they didn't have sex up until marriage, and now it's an issue because it was never addressed. It was never an issue for like the whole day. Like my sister, she didn't have sex until marriage, and people gonna say that I wouldn't know, but it's my fucking twin. I know, and I know how stubborn she was. But it's like one of those. Maybe they were very traditional. They didn't want to experience anything to the moment, and now maybe she's recovering repressed memories. Maybe someone touched her bad. You got girls who get into cheerleading, gymnastics, swim teams, and there could be a male coach who gets a little too friendly.
Either that or the hazing that happens in between there and then too, because they're not safe from that. Either way,
That's
with
a good
all
point.
those things that come in mind, her seeking therapy and seeking help to learn how to cope with whatever that situation is, that's the best option.
Yeah,
Definitely.
from an
Hands-
ethical standpoint, if you come
Hands
into
down.
you come in and say that stuff, it's instantly going to a mental area because there's not anything physically wrong with you. Nothing that I can physically address. I can't, a doctor can't
Unless
survive you.
there is, like, let's say that it gets to the point where he has touched and maybe there's pain there. It could be something physical.
Oh, it could be.
It could be a intense sensitivity issue because there are people who has sensitive clitorises. So if you're touching her there and it's too much stimulation, that could be a reaction from that. If that's the thing. So it could be physical as well.
That
But
is true, but I'm going to ask you as a male, and I have to ask this to females all the time. When you're a male asking a woman about her health, I'm like, okay, when you urinate, do you wipe yourself? Like, did you have any sensitivity issues when you wipe yourself after you urinate? And that's what I'm going to ask you. It's like, have you had any in times where you were horny yourself
I
and
think you should start
manual
saying
masturbation?
as a nurse because
No, I think as
a
a
lot
nursing
of people
standpoint.
are not going to think to ask nobody no question like that for that reason.
Okay,
I
well, you're
think
lucky because you have the option right here.
right.
Because okay, if you wipe yourself when you urinate, because I can tell you when I had my first girlfriend move into me back when I was younger, I didn't notice how I started noticing how fast toilet tissue disappeared. I'm a single male. That stuff lasts me long, but every day it starts disappearing because she wipes every time. And me being a male, I was never taught about that. I never asked my sister about, do you wipe when you pee? Something I'm aware of now.
Is there a thing that people don't wipe every time they
Yes,
pee?
there is. You don't want to know some of the nasty shit I fucking seen.
Because I
So
would
I've
think that
seen
that
way
was
too many
common.
maggots. Maggots, I'll tell you that. You fill in the blank.
Uh,
I don't want to
Yeah,
hear it. I don't want to hear
yeah.
that.
What?
I had to see it. Maggots down there.
Like, how are you like getting off the toilet? Like the pee gonna run down your leg if you don't wipe it? Like you just let it run?
And that's why I asked, like, you're a woman. I know that's standard care. So why didn't you wipe? And and if you have your own, women can be horny like just like men. Men aren't the only ones that get horny. So you masturbate. You might have saw Idris Elba on fucking goddamn TV. And like, man, I want to fuck his ass. And like, you're gonna tell me you never touched yourself in the entirety of your life? You never explored a little bit?
Some people don't, which is weird, but
It
it
usually comes
happens.
through like extreme beliefs when you miss that, but it's an uncommon.
You think it's more uncommon for people to not touch themselves than it is for
It is
them
far, far more common for people who never touch themselves to say and can say in front of their own
and I
deity
mean like
beliefs.
touch themselves like sexually, like masturbate is what I
Oh
mean.
yes, and I'm saying that if you put those people to swear on their mama, they never masturbated in their entire lifespan.
You would
Most
be
of them are gonna be liars.
surprised how many people do not masturbate and have never masturbated. You would be
Yeah,
surprised.
you'd be surprised how much shit I fucking heard.
I mean, I know it's a lot of people that do, but you would be surprised how many don't. Because I always am surprised when somebody say they've never done it.
A lot of
I do
some
remember
people
one question.
lie about that too and say
Yeah,
they
I
do
know
it, they
some.
don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
It's the
know some.
sexually active question I fucking told you earlier.
I feel like to
Why?
make to feel like to seem normal. If everybody is talking about masturbating and you're gonna be like, yeah, I do that too, but a lot of people literally don't touch themselves like that.
I will say I do recall one person who was very devout in their Catholicism, and they
Especially
said they never did
women.
it due to it was a sin, which they were believable because you could tell how they said it.
But you could tell by how a lot of people how uncomfortable they are when it comes to sex and how they don't really know what they like sexually that they don't masturbate.
It goes on. It kind of
Because
overlaps to like
knowing what you like during sex goes with self gratification, like touching yourself, exploring your own body, and a lot of people don't know because they don't do that.
I guess I'm a
A
little.
lot of
I'm
people think
a
that
little.
is. A lot of people think that it's like ew, like you masturbate. Like they think that that's like frowned down upon.
I would say that you're right there, my mindset is a little more to the disbelief, since my daily life is having people lie to me about that specific subject. And be like, oh, there's no way in hell I could ever be pregnant. I've never had sex with a man. And then when you want to get on birth control, we run the test and you're pregnant. You never had sex with a man. Okay, well, tell me what God numbers is. Because I'm going to start calling Mary.
Lying for like what? But yeah, it's a lot of people that don't masturbate. I know it's unbelievable, but
oh no, I'm just saying that's why I fucking I'm more on the disbelief side, because I have to deal with it constantly, because I'm being lied to constantly. It's like, oh, there's no way I could ever be pregnant. I'm a virgin, and then you come back pregnant. Well, let me go talk to Papa Legba.
Like, what people are like? Are these like younger women? They're doing this in front of people. They're just
it can be
lying for no
anyone from
reason.
someone as young as 12 years old all the way up to 30, depending
Okay,
on.
I understand why young girls would do that, because they're afraid of what's gonna happen when you find out that they were having sex.
But the thing is, you can't take it down to just an age range, because giving that faith is a big part of our country. That she's been saving herself. She hasn't met the right man. She's 30 years old, but she's pregnant.
I can see that.
And she's trying to hide that fact because she's no longer a virgin, because maybe she's, Islamic. Maybe she's probably one of the Abrahamic religions. But that's why, medical professionals, they will ask you why in this and that, and they ask you these. You might think, why are they asking this? What are they thinking about me? We're only there for your health and your well-being. We cannot divulge things you tell us unless you say them in front of your own thing. Even if you say them in front of your own mother, say, like, you tell me, like, oh yeah, I had sex with so-and-so, and your mom's in the room. I cannot tell your mom that you had sex with so-and-so. You divulge it, I did not. And that's the complication. But it's, it's like you work your daily job, and, you have, say you work in retail, customer's always right. And you see that, hear that phrase, and people are always stealing from the store, and they're stealing. Eventually, you're just going to be like, Or even if you're cosplay, community. Hey, girl, no, I like you for you. I don't like you just for your goddamn costumes. And then you're just like, motherfucker, you just want some ass.
I want to get to know yous.
Yeah, when we were talking, did I ever say that I want to get to know you? Nah, I'm fucking just bullshitting with you about anime or the Gala people.
Do you have the next question?
I'm looking right now. Okay. First, Endya, do you have anything to add to that question?
No, I think I'm good.
But are you cold?
I just like this jacket. And yeah, it is actually pretty chilly up here.
I just noticed that. I just looked over and noticed that you have your headset over your hoodie. I'm like, are you cold, brother?
Well, I mean, I did shave off all the hair too, so there's that too.
Let's say the new cut fresh.
Okay. The next question. I've been cheated on by all 3 men I've been in a relationship with, and I don't trust men anymore. A common piece of advice I hear is, you're choosing the wrong men. What do they all have in common? My brain answers, they were men with functional penises. I get the idea. Supposedly, the advice goes, I'm choosing the wrong men, and they must all have something in common. And that one element, should I identify it, is a feature I should isolate and recognize, and refuse to date people with that common characteristic. I mostly think that's BS, and hold the individuals who made the choice to cheat responsible, rather than holding myself responsible for them cheating because I wasn't psychic enough to predict it. They were very different anyway. And if I list the generic things they had in common that I was attracted to, attractive, smart, funny, active, etc., that basically leaves me dating ugly, dumb, boring guys. At that point, why bother dating? So I basically hate that line of logic. So do I. They love blaming us for people just being terrible. I've also been preemptively blamed by people who don't even know details about my sex life, saying I probably don't put out enough, or that I'm too clingy, which makes them cheat. Anyway, anything to avoid blaming the actual person who cheats, I suppose. So is there any advice you'd give someone who is considering giving up dating because of being betrayed too often that doesn't essentially blame the victim?
I'm gonna not be an asshole here, but possibly be an asshole here, right?
You take this one before I answer.
So hear me out on this. What was the time frame where she got to know these people? What was the time frame when they got to know her?
Their age range, does that play a factor? Did they mention anything like that?
All of that. All that needs to be taken into consideration, because when you lack maturity and you lack understanding and communication, and then also realizing if that is an exclusive relationship or not, all of those are just little pieces of hay being added to a potential fire. So
And
it's not her fault that they're dogs.
Mm-hmm.
But then the other issue is, with them doing what they did, they may not understand what they were actually involved with. She may have thought in her mind that those 3 relationships were exclusive, and they might have just been dogs and not realize what they were getting themselves into.
so they
Because I
didn't
mean, people
understand the gravity, is what you're saying.
yeah, people can say "I love you" and shit all the fucking time nowadays. They do it all the time, but it doesn't mean a thing, because people are about like, "Hey, me and you are a thing."
The thing that stuck out for me is that when she's saying that all I can get is ugly guys and all this, I'm like, you need to look at yourself. If you're admitting the only thing I can date is someone I'm not physically attractive to.
No, she's
And
saying that if she's going by people telling her that if she's picking out the generic things that all of these guys have in common, which she said is good looking, funny, and active, or whatever active means, then that would mean she should only date men who are the opposite of that, which is ugly, boring, and don't have a sense of humor. So that's
I'm
why
gonna
she said that.
I'm just assuming that active means like athletic, in some kind of sport with the more.
I think that's what it means.
Oh, yeah,
And
I just think they all need to grow up.
as a male that has hit 30 and is turning 31, I can tell you that the dating field is the best for me right now than any time in my life. I can date women 10 years older than me, 10 years younger than me. I have stable income. I have a household. I have cars. I have plenty of bells and whistles besides being active and physically active. I'm a 15-year martial artist. I am in shape. Did I put on, a few pounds because I'm not in tournament right now? Yes. But I'm avidly more, if you're going to do the whole active thing, as I understand it, versus someone, the kid who has diabetes compared to me, she's shining more towards the physically fit. So it seems like she's projecting her own sexual attraction onto guys who did it wrong. Now, just because, say Bert does her dirty and then she dates me doesn't mean I'm going to do her dirty. If that makes sense.
I feel like she needs to do an analysis of the people on a deeper level, because if that was the only things that they had in common, there's a lot more that she should analyze for the person. But I'm not saying that they're.
I think she was being funny when she said that.
Yeah, no. I mean, like, as far as they're fit to do the basics, but I'm pretty sure they have more things in common.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like a lot of people that do that do have red flags that you should notice.
Mm-hmm.
How many baby mamas do they have? How many kids are they actually being a life into?
She needs to analyze that, but ultimately it's all on the guy. She didn't do anything. But also, did y'all establish a real relationship too? Because we live in a time too where people just get together, we go together. Instead of we asked, will you be my girlfriend? Okay, we're official. Not just because we went on 3 dates now. Well, he moved in. Y'all never had that conversation of, are y'all together? Or
that's
exclusivity?
A good fucking.
A lot of times.
I'm sorry, Rod. I was saying that's a good ass fucking point.
A lot of times, exclusivity is not talked about.
That's what I was talking to my mama about one day. In our generation, especially,
it's just assumed. Oh, well, we together now. Well, we moved in together, so it's assumed. But did y'all ever say that we're not dating anyone else anymore?
If y'all move in together, you living with somebody that you're not exclusive with.
No, you got to realize people nowadays are going to try to find every excuse to smash something else if you don't lay it out for them anymore.
I think it's important to just say that you're together, though. and
It is.
we're not dating anybody else anymore, even before the point you move in, because you
Yeah,
can
it's
start get
important.
if before you get really serious with somebody, if you had that conversation with them about exclusivity, then you're on the same page. Rather than one person being like, "Well, we just fucking, and I like her," and
Mhm.
and she's like, "I'm in love, and this is my boyfriend." When he refers to you as that chick I'm smashing.
Let me be devil's advocate there, because my college days,
Consistently. A
Right, that's a chick
consistency.
that
like I'll be devil's advocate right there. You know, my college days, I have girls I be fucking, and messing with. I have girls come up to me in class. Oh, Curator, you want to come and watch Flash? I have no interest in that motherfucking show. I just know I'm gonna get some ass tonight. And then what happens? Are you and so dating? No. But she's saying you're her man. I just gave her some dick. I was like, I'm a fucking better man nowadays. But when I was a fucking kid, girl want to fuck me because she want me to come over to her goddamn apartment, her goddamn place, and I know I'm gonna have a good chance to smash. I'm 18, 19 years old. I'm a hit. Now, just
Basically
because you
what
claiming me,
he's
don't mean I am
saying.
yours.
Basically what he's saying is some people will do anything to have sex with you, and it doesn't mean that they're actually in a relationship with you or that they actually like you, but they're just doing these activities that you associate with dating, so they can have sex, or because you're convenient to be with, because sometimes it's not about sex. But I feel like my advice is to keep dating people regardless of how many times you've done it and you've gotten cheated on. That's just how life is. As a person who was sexually assaulted by a guy, I understood that that was a situation that was an isolated incident, so I couldn't look at all guys going forward as, oh, they're going to do this to me, they're going to do that to me, because one did. I feel like when you operate in fear because of something, because I feel like cheating can be traumatic, which is why
Uh-huh.
she feels like I don't want to date again, because every time I date they're cheating on me or whatever. That could be a traumatic thing, and I think that that's a trauma that people don't recognize, being cheated on. But I feel like the being afraid makes you want to give up in a situation like that, when you have to just realize that it's life. You're going to come across people who do bad things to you. You're going to come across people who cheat and who will sexually assault you and things like that. But you have to understand that that's not everybody. And you
That
have
is
to
the
be
trauma.
willing. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. And that's a risk. But you also have to know how, going forward, to recognize things in people. You may not be able to look at all of these people and pick out a lot of these common interests, but you should be able to look at all of them and pick out the red flags that were presented to you before it happened, or when you were in a situation with them, whether it was before, after, whatever. You should be able to look at those situations, those three situations, and pick out common things that these men had that let you know that they were cheaters or that they were cheating on you, because there are red flags that present themselves in situations like that. As uh even though you cannot help somebody else's actions, you have to just protect yourself as best as you can from getting cheated on. I mean, you can't really, be honest, protect yourself from being cheated on or being assaulted. If somebody's going to do it, they're going to do it. But there are things that you can pick up on to recognize if that person is capable of that or not. And when you identify these things, you just have to cut that relationship off, cut it short. But there's always going to be the risk that somebody is going to cheat on you. That's always going to be a risk. You can't allow that to prevent you from dating people. And also I feel like you should probably go to therapy um to work through those situations, because it was obviously traumatic to you if you feel like you don't want to date anymore because of it. Not saying that that's a minor thing and you shouldn't feel the way that you feel. I get it. Listen, a lot of us go through that whenever we are in relationships with people and we get cheated on and things happen, you always feel like, dang, I don't want to date no more because I keep having this situation happen. But that's life. You just kind of have to know how to maneuver through it, get over it if it does happen, and keep it moving. But you can't expect everybody to treat you like that. You just have to decide what you're going to do if it happens. If somebody cheats on you again, you're gonna break up with them and you're gonna keep it moving.
I just want to
That's
add in
all
on
you can
that.
do.
It's like, cheating will happen. It is a thing. But, it's not okay for anyone to cheat. And you have to understand when you cheat, some people out there are crazy and you can end up in getting murdered, stabbed, or anything for cheating on somebody. It's like, just because, you got with a girl, her and a man are separated, but that man and that woman could have been together for, I don't know, 15 years. And in his mindset, they still together. So you're taking that added risk by messing with her. That's why anytime I dated a girl with a kid, I always ask him, where's dad at? Is he in the picture? That's what I want to know. It's like, because I'm not trying, yeah, I don't mind if you have a kid. If I'm going to date you, I'm more worried about this guy bashing my door in one day. You're fucking my wife just because, you dated 10 years and then, you broke it off a year ago, but he's still on that, like you still together.
That's valid.
So you have to think of cheating on the other aspect, because cheating will happen. But maybe the person who cheated on you, maybe in his brain, he didn't think you were cheating because you were just a piece of ass to him. Then you got to think about the people who've been married, 6 years, 8 years, 9 years, and then all of a sudden you decide, I'm done with his ass. I want something new. And then he sees you with so and so down the street, and he's like, I'm gonna go fucking shoot that motherfucker. So people dating, man or woman, you have to think of the dangers when you're thinking of dating someone who freshly got cheated on. Because even if he didn't value her and only see her a piece of ass, he might be seeing he, him, they, them as property. So cheating is never good. That's why you don't do it in school.
Forever.
But then again, that's also cheating is why we grade on a curve. So it's not black and white. Take it as a gray.
Do you have anything to add, Endya?
I was just about to ask the Endya answer.
I feel like, I guess, just adding on, that's why people should set a standard for themselves. And like you said, Boonie, like as soon as you see a red flag, just be out. Like a lot of people like to give chances and they'll be like, oh, well, let me work with this person because, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. And I know, from personal experience because I've done that. But I've learned that you can't do that. Even if someone says like, oh, I didn't have the intention of hurting you by doing so and so, but it's like, well, I set an expectation for you. I communicated my expectations and you still broke it. So I'm no longer in the business of giving second chances. So it's like, yeah, as soon as you see an issue with things, because you will see red flags. Like if you end up with a cheater, it's like you probably saw like 3 red flags before the actual act happened. So you just have to set that boundary. And I mean, if you want to take a break from dating, it's like, yeah, do that. Take some time for yourself, because you also don't want to do like this serial monogamy sort of thing where you're just constantly dating people and you end up dating the same kind of person. So you do want to, get to know yourself better and list the things that you actually want in your relationship. List the kind of things you want in your partner, and don't settle for anything below that.
Exactly. Like I said, like everybody said, it's something that you can avoid. So you have to be the type of person who, if this happens to me, I'm done. You have to set those boundaries so you will know how to conduct yourself after it happens. But you can't allow that to turn you off. Even though I understand we've all been there. Like I've been single for what, 6, 7 years, maybe even 8 years after going through a lot of the things I went through in my relationship, but that was more so to work on myself, really, to heal from a lot of the things that I went through, because I had been somebody that was always in a relationship. So I needed that break. Sometimes you do need a break because it's a lot. Being with somebody, giving yourself to somebody, being in a relationship, and especially having them betray you in however they do it, and you have to get to a place where you're not looking at everybody as the enemy because of what somebody did to you. Because I feel like that's a thing that we all take into other situations, whether we see it or not. Whenever something traumatic like that happens to you, you should take some time to get yourself back in a good headspace so it doesn't change your perception of people. It doesn't change you as a person because of what somebody did to you. Because it's not fair to not give people the benefit of doubt because of what somebody else did to you. But I also understand why you do it, but that doesn't make it okay.
Make sure you're fully healed and that you process those past hurts before you dive into something else. Because a huge mistake, it's a huge mistake to dive into a relationship where you still are not over that past one. If you're truly over it, then you're not going to think about that person doing that.
Exactly.
But you can not worry about it, but be aware of certain signs that you, like you said, that you perceive. Like there's certain small things, like don't be stupid.
Right.
Don't be stupid. A lot of times, when I was a cheater, I literally said some of the stupidest things ever and was believed. And I'm like,
They wanted to believe you.
Yeah, people believe you because they want to.
I can't
It's as
believe.
simple as that.
There was a quick thing I want to say. I told her that I was supposed to, and which part of it was true. I would always tell half truths.
That's always how liars
You
lie.
motherfucker.
Yeah, I would always tell half truths. So I'm going to perform, which was true. I'm going to perform and open up for DJ Quick. Not realizing that I hadn't met him before. And I said, oh, yeah, he was short in person. She says, oh, yeah, one of his songs, he said he's 6'1" and something 100 pounds. Oh, dang.
Also, liars usually give you information that is unnecessary. Because what was the point of you saying he was short in person? Like, that's how I know people be lying. When you get to putting too much onto that, it's like, why would that matter?
Well, I'm gonna say you took me back to an old school Snoop Dogg song where he kept calling him a skinny ass, and I'm just thinking, short, because you talk about a skinny motherfucker, and we're like, oh, he's short, and you stand next to him. That motherfucker fucking 6'3".
So
But
just don't be stupid. I feel like you said, she wanted to, but at the same time, she had her own stuff going on, and I was very much so immature during the time. So,
because I think that a lot of times in relationships, when a person has been done wrong, like you said, she had her own stuff going on. Sometimes it benefits them to believe you. Sometimes they want to. But I'll stop right there. Sometimes it benefits them to believe you, whether it's because they are doing something themselves or because they just want to believe you because they don't want to disturb the peace and the happiness that they have in that situation. Right. So people will believe it because they want to stay in this an emotional state where they're at peace and they're happy. They don't want to deal with being betrayed by somebody.
makes me think probably a good subject for another podcast. Like the subject of dating down. Because you talk about cheaters so much. So, like, use myself as an example. I have a steady career. I have 2 functioning vehicles. I have a house. I have land. I can date a girl, and we can start getting serious after a year or two. Then, boom, she, dumps me and dates, a crackhead down the street living with his mom and daddy. And now I'm thinking, what the fuck did I do wrong? I say she left, the suburbs for the goddamn trailer park. And I'm thinking,
she can fix him.
I say, you got a guy who's doing everything for you, then all of a sudden you just, oh, he's clingy, he's too nice.
A lot of the times people date down superior. Is really to feed their egos.
Because you didn't graduate high school, you have to, date down because, you're talking to a college education person.
Yep, somebody who has it all together is that's what's the word I'm looking for?
See, I came out of poverty. That's that was actually part of my interview for my first actual job is, what are you most proud of? I came out of Section 8. I say I paid for my entire schooling from, working. But, that's just a subject that popped into my mind. The object when people cheat, it seems like a lot of people always cheat downwards.
They do.
And it's like, you could be, dating Boonie, and all of a sudden, then you cheat on her with 800-pound life.
What do you have against?
You know how many times we brought that show up in the cast? It's stuck in my brain.
You just don't like big girls. That's all that.
Yeah. Right.
I'm only on here for the second episode. I'm seeing that.
That's fine. I just want to know what fold I'm getting into. Yeah, but you gonna fire at me? I fire back, motherfucker.
Hey, I have my limits too, bro. Just letting you know.
Nah, we good, brother. I just say, if you're gonna try to stump me, you're gonna try a lot harder than that.
I got you.
I say, this is Metal Gear 1. I'm saying, fucking Sniper Wolf, you downwind.
Well,
I'll let you know when we get to Rising.
But let's move to the final topic before we so we could get out of here. We're gonna be here all night.
Yeah, because that second topic is gonna have to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I need some sleep.
Because I feel like everybody tired. Right. I'm just over here. My freaking eyes are dry. But
I can tell.
Get some eye drops.
I need to get some.
I was going to take a nap for this podcast, but the last time I took a nap for the cast, I stuck to it.
Moving on to the Black Life segment. Do you have any fears about sex that are influenced by porn?
Fetishizing.
Yeah, I kind of already talked about that by accident. I didn't know that was on the list.
I mean, shit. Yeah, Curator covered most of it.
I've heard of race play. Like,
what about you, Endya? What you about to say, Endya?
Repeat the question.
Do you have any fears about sex that are influenced by porn?
Not that I can think of. No.
Okay.
I feel like a fucking goddamn gold mine over here, being Native American, fucking German. You're a German fetish with the fucking Nazis, like in Call of Duty? Or you going for the goddamn savage aspect that fucking chase me down and cut me?
I feel like it goes without saying with the black fetish. That is heavily porn.
Like that is a big thing on the porn
big site. Black this, black that, ebony this, ebony that. It's weird.
Well, ebony is only projected to females of that demographic.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I feel like the fear that I have when it comes to porn is the same thing that we were talking about earlier, and that's consent. I feel like because people are so influenced by porn, they act out a lot of the things that they see porn stars do. When like I was saying, when you have the girl that says she doesn't want him, like I don't want you to put it in my anus, and he does it anyway. And I feel like a lot of guys think that when you say no, you don't like something, or no, don't do this, and they'll do it anyway. The consent is my only fear. But if I'm moving away, if I can't have a conversation with you about sex before we have sex, I'm not having sex with
you. There's a lot of titles like that too, where it's oops, he slipped in the wrong hole.
I don't.
It doesn't happen like that, bro. It doesn't.
Right.
You don't slip in the wrong hole. You don't slip. It doesn't. You have to intentionally do that.
Or not know which hole is which.
Exactly.
What you about to say, Endya?
I said I'm a little conflicted on that because I know one time we didn't really discuss what was going to happen, during sex, and he slapped me. And I was like, okay. Like, in the midst of it, I was cool with it.
Wait,
And
in
I
the
was like, I
face?
wouldn't be cool every time, but I was like, I guess that's something I like. But it's like he had to really just kind of spring that on me. I don't know if I would have said okay to that.
Wait, Indy, you mean in the face? Like slapped you in the face?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's over at that point.
I know it sounds
Don't
wild. It sounds so wild.
Did you just not say you heard she say she kind of liked it?
So kind of like, okay,
We
like
might
sometimes
start
you got
fighting at that point.
Listen. I always tell guys that I date, I know what I like. You ain't gonna spring nothing on me that I don't know that I like yet.
Yeah.
And I'm really open to try a lot of things. So it ain't no accident. So you did something that that was I actually kind of like. No, you do not have to accidentally do something or just try something to see if I like it. I know what I like and I know what I'm open to trying.
My
So
only,
yeah.
my only fear would be unreal expectations as far as pretty much what you guys already covered, like one thing that wasn't really covered was size, unreal expectations as regards to size, unreal expectations as regards to stamina. Uh that's the only fear, that people will really think that this is real and this is how sex happens, and it's like it's not how a normal sex act happens. And instead of the lubrication, like just the whole everything, the whole, instead of viewing it as entertainment, they think it's real and engage in that way and get upset when somebody doesn't do what they saw in the porn. Well, you can't stretch your leg all the way back here. No, it hurts. No, this is painful for me.
One of the things where you say that a lot of guys do is when you have sex with women and you open the legs this way instead of pushing them back toward her, doing it like this, it's painful. Also, y'all know that area, the butt crack, where it's very sensitive,
It can
and
split.
y'all spreading butt cheeks and stuff, and it splits like Rose says, that hurts. There's a lot of things that y'all think are, but we are not doll babies. Number one. And just because I got some butt don't mean that you just all the stuff that you
I feel like there's nuances that they don't talk about when having sex with someone that has bigger breasts or a bigger butt, because they do the extreme to them on the porn.
I don't want the extreme.
Don't go there with a normal woman, because you're gonna hurt her, and then that's the end of that. Because that's most women, they don't like pain. Like, some women like certain amounts of pain, but that kind of pain, you rip a butt, you rip that little, that's over, bro. She start bleeding. And
also being rough, period. Like,
have someone bite your
I've
dick.
had a time where I have had my clit nicked with too much of this bleed, and it bled.
Got some fingernail on there, something like that.
That's the end of that, right?
Speaking of that, hygiene and maintenance is a thing.
Yeah.
Like keeping your nails maintained and cleaned and stuff like that speaks volumes for people.
Also, you know what's sexy? If you wash your hands before we have sex. I mean, wash your whole body too, but
forget just washing your hands. Don't take a whole
take
shower.
A fucking shower.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Wash your whole body, but you know what I'm saying? I feel like even in a situation where we just sitting chilling, you have a lot of men who love to stick their fingers inside of women. It's like your hands are not clean.
I will tell you right now, when I get home from
Wash
work,
your hands.
you could be in my house, whatever the fuck you say. I'm ignoring you. I'm walking straight to that shower, and whatever I'm wearing is going in the bin and straight in the fuck goddamn washer. My first idea is decontaminate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's understandable in your line of work too.
Yep.
I think people should do that.
That's
Period. Though you got the day on you. Watch the day off.
Exactly.
I can't tell you how many times I wash my hands, and we have a specific method. You can tell how old a doctor is by how much he washes, the way he washes his hands. Because there's certain practices that are no longer used, but other than by older doctors, because people are trying to move over to more alcoholic sprays, and rather than alcohol-based soaps. But when you see your daily physician, see if he walks to that sink or does he walk past that sink, because he already knows he's not going to touch you. So technically, he's supposed to wash his hands every time he comes to the door. Once he touches the doorknob, he's supposed to wash his hands, even if it just means I'm just going to talk to you the whole time, Will. As I don't have to check your lungs.
That is actually familiar. I've seen like a lot of older doctors do that. First thing,
stir, back
all
of
right,
hand,
now,
up
how can I help
arm.
you?
Now people just skip that stuff because a lot of daily practitioners like, I'm not going to touch you. I know I'm not going to touch you. Oh, I'm just going to put a scalpel. Brain.
Right.
I'm just going to check your heart.
Stethoscope.
Fuck me. English is complicated. I told Will I can't speak English without cussing. Because when you know German, we only cuss and we use English cuss words as slang. Now, when we cuss in all fucking goddamn language, as in Deutsch, because German is not German for German, it's Deutsch. We fucking cuss in all language. So, like me and Will, for example, what's up, motherfucker? Like, that's cool. Then you motherfucker. That's me being mean. It's in German.
I feel like everything that y'all say is mean. Just because of the way that it be sounding. Germans and Russian, that accent, it just sounds mean to me.
I know, I've heard that before.
They say that people from India, they can't sound mean though. Like that's the difference. Like they're trying to cuss you out.
Oh yeah, people from India, they don't sound mean.
Like imagine them trying to rob a bank or something. Put the money in the bag.
My partner that moved on to the next world, I came in the house one day and she didn't know German. I was teaching her. I just fucking it was a joke that my sister made. You should just come in the door and scream "I love you" in German. So I see her on the couch. I'm like, "Ich liebe dich," and she's like, "The fuck? Ich liebe dich." I love you. Oh, I love you too.
That's not what that sounded like, though. I bet. Just be sounding mean all the time.
It's just a firm language. It's like Americans really love training dogs, especially attack dogs in German, because it's a very hard language. It's very straightforward.
Wait, but before we get too far off topic, let's
transition
to the end here for the episode. If nobody has nothing else to say as far as the last question is concerned.
Did you answer, Bert? Yeah, you said fetishizing.
Fetishes.
I think
I agree with fetishing too. Fetishizing. I get a lot of that. So
see, I think I touched on that a little bit because the Native American part is always a big fetish. And then, the thing that always drove me nuts of my dating history, people see me and my partner out in public, and then, I say I work with them, like, oh, I didn't know you date black girls. It's just my partner. And then for some reason, because I'm white passing, and I've talked to some people already about this, it's probably going to be a subject for a later episode. But for some reason, white people always feel the need to tell me, oh, I've been with a black girl once. And after 30 years, I have developed a response to that question. And now my answer is always, how black? And they always respond, well, she was light-skinned. I think her daddy might have been black and her mom might have been white. And I just, doesn't count. Because you see me and my partner in the grocery store, and we go to work together, and like, I didn't know you like black women. You got that fever, motherfucker. That's my partner. That's my love. We don't lay down every night in bed like, yeah, you're my black wife. No, it ain't like that. And people just don't understand interracial relationship. Then they hear the native part of my family, how they feel about the black half. They don't think about it. Then no one's saying, oh, you're bringing her into the band, you're bringing her into the clan, you're bringing her into the tribe. No. I promise you, my tribe would be more pissed off if I bring home a Barbie with blonde hair and blue eyes. It's like the slavery overlap and the indigenous impression overlaps way the fuck more and is way more accepted. and it's always just been fetishes in my my lifespan. And it's just like, even if you take my race out of it, just like Royal Bert Boonie, if you date a white person, imagine if your coworker came up to you. I didn't know you liked white people. I dated a white person once.
I would say I
You,
don't.
you've got that cracker fever, don't you?
I just feel like it doesn't matter.
You did.
No,
You want that
we
Campbell
actually
soup fever?
there is a thing in our community called jungle fever, and people like they do say that a lot.
Jungle fever, aka from
Oh, you
goddamn
got jungle fever. You got
yellow
jungle
fever, fucking nader fever, goddamn catching a snag, trying to goddamn ride up on that buffalo. I've heard it fucking all.
Right up on that buffalo.
Trying to catch a snag.
That's a new one for me. Shit.
That sound like a song right there.
It do right up on that buffalo.
Get Little Nas X to write that shit.
That buffalo.
Come ride me. I'm a sacred beast, bitch.
But
You're warm. I keep your stomach full. I do everything for you.
on that note, we
Yeah.
are going to end the episode right here.
Before I make Boonie turn off her crap laughing.
Thank you guys for joining us to discuss this topic. It was very important. We can talk about sex-related topics all the time, and I feel like we will more often. But yeah, this is the end of the episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify so you can get notifications when we post new videos and things like that. Also, don't forget to email us at royalgeniusreviews@gmail.com if you have questions or if you want advice, if you want to come and sit on the panel with us.
Get mad because I'm sitting here because I'm too pale. Bring me the Haterade.
And also, make sure to check the description so you can see the resources that we include for the Wealthy Health segment. But
and also make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook across all our platforms. Royal Genius Entertainment on everything. And you can stay in touch with us that way. Also, follow our other co-hosts as well. Their links to their social medias will be in the description as well. Show love, y'all.
Yes.
Please follow us and support our channels. Because right after this is over, I have to go back to Boonie's basement from night till Saturday. God damn it.
You follow me, you're going to see a whole bunch of random stuff, but it'll be fun, I promise.
Endya doesn't care if y'all follow her or not. She's just here.
Endya seems cool.
But just so y'all know, she's hella talented.
Say they found me by accident. They just got lucky.
I don't even know why people follow me. Shit. Y'all just find me.
Like every time we start an episode, every time we say that we do the introduction, all black podcast, and we keep it real, I could just feel some of the comments. Why is that motherfucker sitting there? He don't look like a native. Motherfucker, what am I supposed to look like?
Well,
we're in there.
Curator will always make that joke at the beginning and end of every episode. So if you only want to come back to hear that, you can do so.
I'm a hype man here.
We're going to end the episode right here. We will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Peace.
Back to the basement.